Hey everybody, welcome back to Pancakes. I am so happy you put that kickstand down and decided to spend a little bit more time with this weird guy right here. Today's episode of Inside the Helmet, we're hanging out with Tallman Moto. Matt comes on and we have a wonderful time laughing, joking around. We have alter egos, which you'll meet in this episode. Matt actually opens up a little bit and talks about his issues with PTSD and what's that like for him. It gets pretty deep at the end, but trust me, friends, there's a lot of shenanigans, and this is just a fun episode that I hope you enjoy. Friends, if you like what we're doing here on Pancakes or the Motorcycles and Pancakes, and you want to help us out a little bit, please consider becoming a Patreon member. Those monies that are coming in right now have already bought microphones, changed some cables and cords and things, and just making this a better experience for you, the listener. If you're watching this on the YouTubies, please take a minute, go down, like, subscribe, share with all of your friends, and leave us a comment, even if it's that only one-word comment. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do the same thing. Make sure you subscribe to that channel, leave us a little review, even if that is only one word. That helps the algorithm pick us up and spit us in front of a bunch of new audience members that we have recently been reaching, and it's been very, very positive. So friends, I hope you like today's episode with Tallman Moto. And without further ado, here he is.
I just can't unsee it.
And just like that, dude, we're live. We are live. We are live. So anyways, dude, thanks for giving me some time today. I know you're a little bit busy doing some things, a little pre-show stuff, but, super stoked that you're on here. And we finally, because actually we tried to do this a few weeks ago.
Yes.
The day after, or 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 12 days after your last live. And we weren't able to make that happen.
Somebody dropped the ball.
I know. It was, but it's fine. But hey, we're back, and we have matching microphones, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
The inverted versions.
The totes inverted versions.
Totes inverted.
Oh yeah. So this is going to be pretty cool because there's actually a lot about you that I'm actually kind of curious about, man.
You asked me before what was off limits, and I said nothing, and I might regret that, but we'll see what happens.
Well,
Let's see
you did say the only thing that is off limits is what you and Corey Smallman Moto or my ADV 360 do in the tent together while you're out camping.
No questions.
Okay,
We're not taking questions at this time. No, and all right, that was our time. It was good talking to you, and
here we go. So if you're not familiar with both he and I, we both have alter egos who have recently met and I think are actually soulmates. So, hey everybody, this is Barley the Harley guy. I'd like to thank you for stepping on here to this little podcast. Hey, Cletus.
yeah, well, yeah, I exist. It's been a while. It's the first time I've been let out of the mental cage for a long time. And when I say mental cage, I mean, the head of Tallman, which is a really scary place to be locked up in, if I'm being honest. So thanks for having me.
I promise we will be in and out of character probably all night, but we're not going to stay in there because honestly, when I start doing Barley too much, it bothers me.
Yeah, I have a hard
take it
time.
with these little doses.
I have a hard time being here and then letting Tallman take back over, but we'll see how it goes. Oh,
we'll see. That's for sure.
I'm trying to help you get product sponsorship. Lagunitas, it's delicious.
Lagunitas, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. That is pretty good little bar right there.
Almost
all right, man. So
IPA.
Yeah, buddy. So why don't we kind of get into this little thick meat and potatoes here? You know what I mean there? Yeah. So like I said, I think you and I have known each other for, well, in person, we met at Giant Loop. That was the first time. So back in June, and now it's February. So that's what, 8 months roughly. So Oh my goodness.
beer
That was
went
the
down
first
the
time you
wrong
and I met
tube.
in person. We
Yeah.
we actually chit-chatted a little bit before that. So I think our quote unquote inaugural friendship has been a little longer than the 8 months, but you're somebody that I've watched, on the
Wait,
interwebs.
did you say we're friends?
I'm going with that. I'm
Are
going
we
with that word.
friends?
We're totally friends, brah.
Sorry. Be cool.
No, it's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, no, dude, I think it's pretty rad. But I know there's a lot to talk about. Like I want to know more about you growing up. I want to know about your Navy. I want to know about your the whole editing stuff you got going on, your writing. I want to know more about like moto instructor kind of stuff
Yeah.
that happened to
Listen,
be pretty recently.
I don't like to read books, but I would consider myself an open book.
Well, God, what kind of words you have in there? Because unless
Means
they're pictures, I don't
I
read.
don't like to talk about me because I am a book.
Oh well, we about to get into it now.
Let's do it.
All right, man. So why don't we take a step back a little bit and let's learn about little Matt, and let's kind of
You meant as a joke, not a literal step.
maybe right.
All right, from back
But
here.
yeah, dude,
Hit me
Yeah.
with it. Hit me with all the questions.
I'm gonna hit you with my best shot. Fire away. So why don't we take a step back, man? Why don't you tell us a little bit? Where were you born? Grow up? Sports? Whatever.
Sports.
So
He said sports. All right.
I like
Hello,
sports.
everybody. Me. Well, so I was born and raised on Whidbey Island, which is in Washington State. Grew up in a little town called Oak Harbor. Absolutely hated it. So I ran away to the Navy right out of high school. We can expand on how I joined the Navy in a little bit. Joined the Navy as what is known as a mass communication specialist. So I did photography, video production, journalism, print, design stuff. Had a lot of fun doing that. Spent 4.5 years on an aircraft carrier. Got out of the Navy. Had kind of an oddball job doing media stuff for a year as a contractor for the government. Then I was hired as an instructor at the place where everybody in the military goes to learn how to do photography, journalism, stuff like that. I taught there for 3.5 years. Came back out here, had a public affairs job for the Small Business Administration for about 3.5 years. Then my career took a hard left turn, and I was a high school teacher for 5 years, which I really loved. We can expand on that later. And now I work at a naval health clinic back in Oak Harbor as a public affairs officer. That's my life.
Okay, so you really just gave us the Cliff Note version of the Cliff Note version.
The summary.
The Cliff Note version. Yeah, well, we're going to be backing up here. All right. Here we go. So Oak Harbor. So I have family that when they were young, they moved from North Bend, Washington to Mount Vernon.
Okay.
And they're still in the Vernon, Bellingham-ish area with a boat in Anacortes. So we're kind of up in that area, growing up kind of a lot, just being out on the Sound, going out, seeing the whales and just going to all the different islands. And then also, Whidbey Island, Deception Pass Bridge, what? But
I'm going on 36 years old. I grew up on Whidbey Island. Let me tell you, I have never seen an orca whale in the Puget Sound in my entire life. I think they hate me.
They probably do.
They probably do. They know that I want it.
Well, yeah, probably. But yeah, I have fond memories of seeing hundreds and hundreds of whales growing up.
Oh, bitch.
Okay. It's like exaggeration.
So many whales.
Oh my gosh. Like
every time we would look at the water, there would be orca whales just jumping out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
sounds
they
like a
would
great
play
childhood.
catch with us, We'd throw out the volleyball and it would like, Yep. Just put it right
Just
back.
free willying it up.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's a different story. Free Willy. So, anyways, so you didn't really care growing up over there. And that's a pretty strong Navy area, too. Right. So it doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me at some point you were like, yeah, it's going to the Navy. 'Cause
Nope.
you got the air base there. You've got naval. I mean, you got it all.
You would think all of that would have been an influence, but it was almost the opposite direction. My father was in the military. So the reason we ended up on Whidbey Island, that's where he left the Navy, was right around the time I was born, maybe a little bit before. I'm not sure. And his method of like parenting was like anytime I would get in trouble, I would go through his version of boot camp. So I was very
okay.
like that was not a realistic option to me until I think it was my junior year. I was sitting on the couch on a Saturday, just eating my cereal, watching cartoons, and this ad came on for monsterjobs.com. And there was this person talking about how she was a broadcast technician, and I was a real video nerd in high school. Like I found my thing in 9th grade, and it was video production and photography. So I was really into that. So I'd been doing that for the last couple of years. My grades were not great, not terrible. They weren't getting me into college. So I'm sitting there eating my cereal. This commercial for monsterjobs.com comes on. And this lady's talking about how she was a broadcast technician in the United States Navy. Side note, that's never, ever been a real job. So they just made something up. And they've got all these cool, like, Navy boats and all this stuff's happening that's Navy stuff. And she's like, now the Navy's paying for my college. And I was like, they'll pay for my college? And that was it. That was my decision. I was like, well, it's the only way I'm going to go to college. Side note, I never actually ended up going to college. But
well,
that was the selling point. I was like, I can take pictures in the Navy, and then they'll pay for my college. Sold. Done.
Sold.
It's easy. It was not easy. It was pretty easy.
So was it easy? Okay, so even moving back, so you would, get your
Even
hand
further.
slapped, Dad. Yeah, but your dad would put you through his little, boot camp and stuff. I could see how that could be a little difficult, trying to go through and
He was an interesting human.
use. Okay. So what was little Maddie like growing up? So I got a kid, dude, that's pretty dang tall. So you're what, 6'5" or so, 6'6", something like that?
6'6".
Okay.
Re-verified
He's
at
6'7".
work.
Okay,
So
he's
how old is he?
6'7". 27.
That's your son that I met. No, that was Chris' son. I
No.
haven't met your son.
That was. No, you have not.
That was
He just had a
Chris,
baby
Critter's
yesterday.
son.
Yeah.
Yay, babies.
Yeah, we had
Now
grandchild
you're Papa
at number
Cakes.
3. Don't tell me you just froze again. There you are. You're back.
No, you froze.
It should be all right. Mr. Roboto.
Yeah,
So,
it'll
yeah,
up-
dude.
it'll
So we,
upload.
yeah, it'll be fine.
You said
so-
third grandchild?
Yeah, man, that's my third. So
You
my
look
youngest
good for a
just
third
had one.
grandchild kind of guy. I wouldn't have guessed you had
Thanks,
even
guy.
one grandchild.
Well, we popped out a couple kids pretty young. So
Yeah, whatever.
not like young.
Just
I
saying,
mean,
hey, I'm just saying you look good. You look youthful. That's the point.
like, thanks. I appreciate it. If you're just listening to this, we both flipped our horrible wigs in a little sexy mash in there.
And then I got fake hair in my mouth.
Yeah, well, So tell me about high school there, Maddie. So when I asked about sports, you kind of like freaked out a little bit. Like you weren't an athlete, you didn't like play sports or anything?
Yeah, no, I wasn't into sports. And I honestly, what's funny is I really like so I coach Special Olympics basketball now.
Right.
I didn't play basketball when I was a kid. I had no interest in basketball. By the time I hit high school, that was the first question everybody asked the kid, right? Oh, so you play basketball, right? So I became like against basketball on principle. Like, I'm not gonna let that define me. I just had no interest in it. But
I get it.
I really enjoy it now as an adult. Of course, I also want to play hockey, and I can't ice skate, so there's that.
Yeah, I might have tried that back in the day for a minute. That was not very good at all.
It's
So,
fun though. It's
no,
fun.
oh, dude, it's awesome. But so just in high school, you didn't really get into the sports. So, you were saying you were really getting into like video and stuff. So, was that you said that's where you started your uh like your passion for it? So, how did that
Yeah.
come about? Were you just like doing like the AV club, or you know?
So
You
the
smiled there. There might
back
be a girl.
the that's actually so that's almost exactly kind of sort of the situation. So sort of. So they just threw me as a freshman in the back half of my senior year into a video class. That was just something that my counselor just signed me up for. In the first couple of weeks, probably 3-4 weeks, we'd done a couple of projects. I wasn't into it. I was like, I don't care. This is stupid. This girl and I were sitting in class passing this notebook back and forth, and we were drawing stick figures in different sex positions. So that's obviously what I was invested in. And
Right.
out of nowhere, the guy, Chris Douthit is his name, he was the teacher at the time, came up, and I wasn't paying attention to him because I was busy, in the middle of this situation, snaps the notebook out of my hand. I was like, oh no. Looks at it and then just walks away. Shook his head and walked away. So he pulled me outside 10 minutes later, outside of the classroom, and he says, I'll never forget this. I've known this man now for, how old am I? 36, 26, 16. Oh my God, 14, 24 years. 24 years I've known this guy. I've never heard him swear. And I remember so vividly, he pulled me outside. He said, you've been in this class for about 4 weeks, and I think you have a real knack for this. But if you don't get your shit together, I will fail you. And he held up the notebook. He's like, this? Don't do this. And that was it. He's like, actually give it a try. I was like, whatever. You can tell me how to live my life. And so then the next project we did, I was like, okay, I'll try it once. And I was hooked. I don't even remember what it was we made. It was, I don't know. It was like a commercial or something basic. But that was it. I was hooked. In case anybody's wondering, no, me and just stick figure sex positions never dated. Turns out I became a video nerd, and she was like, you're a dork. And I was like, all right, cool, bye.
Bye.
But that was it. So the back half of my freshman year, I found video production, and I just ran with it. I was, by my senior year, so me. This is my big claim to fame. I'm the reason that kids can take that class multiple times and get credit for it. Because it used to be you could only take it once, and you couldn't take a repeat elective. And I fought all the way up to the superintendent at the time to be able to take this class repeated times because I really liked it. But they didn't have video 3 and 4 and 5. It was video 1, video 2. That was it. So I was invested. I was the TA. I was in the video 1 class. I was in the video 2 class. I was doing nonstop. I spent most of my day doing this and any outside of class time that I could. So yeah, that's where I found the passion for it. Ironically, when I went into the Navy, I really focused in on photography, and video production's always just sort of been like this, which I think is good. I don't think professionally I would have ever wanted to end up doing video full time because I would have lost the passion for it. Anyways, that's that.
I totally get that. We find our passions at kind of oddball times, right? So I found something that I really enjoyed actually way back. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't mind me. I'm not as bald as I look. I'm just sweaty.
Sweaty balls.
Oh,
but
so
I found something
Tallman
that I was
Moto,
very passionate about. Actually, I think I would have to go all the way back to 3rd grade and getting into music and stuff. I really got found music pretty hard, and I did that for a very long time. And then, motorcycles have kind of been in and out, my whole life, and it's just been phenomenal and super rad. But now it's a point in my life where I think I had, yeah, look at that, get lost, find yourself shirt. It actually got to the point of my life where this video production stuff, I'm so far behind the ball, but yet I'm having such a great time learning and trying to get it all figured out. And
I think like in the world of video, I think what's so cool is like yes, obviously the more capable you are, the like better product you can make, right? Oh, bye Barley.
It's hot.
It's getting hot in here. We're gonna keep on all our clothes.
I got to wear the hat backwards because you can't wear black with a navy blue. Damn it.
Yeah, you can't do that. How do you? Oh, there it is. Right. Hold on. I got to update because I'm a shameless promoter of me.
Okay.
Oh man, those cats.
Tell me if you're going to be sharing screens or whatever, because
no, just that.
Do that.
That was all. That was all I wanted to do. Like and subscribe. There we go. What were we talking about? Oh, video.
Right. Yes.
I think what's cool about like creating video content is even if you're bad at it, the passion for whatever you're doing comes through, right? Like, you don't have to necessarily make something that is like amazing visually, wow, special effects, 360 camera, double backwards supercuts. I don't think that's a thing, but maybe it is. You can just put a couple of clips in a row and you have made a product. Like, I think it's neat. I love it. I think it's great. And there's always something to learn. It is an 100%. Ever-evolving world.
Well, it's for me too, personally. I think, I had this music thing for most of my life, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm 48 now, and I think I was probably 30, 29, 30 when that life went away. So I had I had years of no real creative outlet, right? So I would have like music stuff in my head, and I would, drum beats or, riffs or whatever. All of a sudden I would just be doing something, and I would just like, man, I just wrote like a poem, like this whole page of like what could be lyrics or something, and it just went away. And then all of a sudden it's like, now you're doing, this weird motorcycles and pancakes, and now Pancakes podcast, right? So now I have this like creative outlet and being able to do stuff, and I find myself freaking like the last video I did, like we broke the GS.
I need to watch that one.
Dude, I have this horrible picture of Sean that I took at actually Get Lost, Find Yourself, and it's like I zoom in on just his face, and it's like this total subliminal thing. Like, I'm really kind of curious on who actually is going to know about this. But it just has like his face, and then I put there, I see what you're doing. It's like a frame long, but it is hilarious.
Oh yeah,
it's that great kind of stuff that I just like.
It's great the stupid little things that you can like. If you're even like editing your own stuff, but especially like if you breaking news, everybody's gonna be so surprised if you go and really watch some of Dork in the Road stuff. There's some Tallman logos hidden in there.
Is there really?
Why not? Oh yeah. No, nobody's ever going to see him. It's not like I did it because I was like, I'm going to promote myself. I just thought it would be funny to like throw these things in there. Like he's riding by, and like off in the distance in the mountain is just a little Tallman logo that just goes whizzing by. And it's like, if you're not really, really, really looking, you're never going to know. But it's just so internally satisfying to be like, ha, I did this.
I love it.
That comes from my Navy days. We can expand on that if you would like.
Well, actually, that's actually kind of the next part of the journey that I wouldn't mind going on to, backing up. So this journey. So coming out of high school, right? You're graduating, and you're eating your bowl of cereal. You see the chick on TV, and you're like, yes, so delicious. That is me.
Probably
So I would
sucked as
imagine
much.
you really, yeah, probably back in those days, you probably didn't go very far to have to find a recruiter or sign
No.
up for the Navy.
Nope.
You probably just went to your neighbor's house or something. So tell me what that was like. So you go into the Navy, you tell them what you want to do, right? And then
Like the
off
recruiting
to boot camp
process.
or whatever. Well,
So,
I think we all kind of know the recruiting process, but like your
well,
experience going in there.
so I honestly, I think I had the 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 entire Navy's only solid recruiter, and I don't say that as a dig. You know, I don't care. I don't. People that I know that I'm joking. If you don't know me, dude, calm down. Not all recruiters are crooked. Yeah, but a lot of them are. I can say what I want because I
You're
was in the
first.
Navy. So, anyways, I had a guy who was like, dude, he was on it. So when I was going into the military, photography, journalism, print stuff, and then there was some other stupid rate called illustrator draftsman, something like that. They merged a bunch of different jobs together to make a new job as I was coming into the Navy. So I went in thinking I want to be a photographer's mate. That's what it was called. I wanted to do photography, video production. That's what I wanted to do. And so the recruiter said, I'm going to sign you up as a journalist. Oh, no, he said, so he asked me, he said, how do you feel about journalism? I was like, I almost failed my high school journalism class. I definitely don't want to do that. He goes, I'm going to sign you up as a journalist. I was like, I don't think you're listening. He said, you're good at photography. I said, yes. He said, then I'm going to sign you up as a journalist. I was like, what is happening right now? And then he explained to me, they're merging all these jobs. If you already know how to do photography, why would I send you to school for something you know? Go in as a journalist. They will teach you how to write. This is what they do. They teach idiots from places that don't know how to read and write how to be a journalist. I was like, all right, I'll trust you. And sure enough, he was right. And so I was one of the few people really out of the gate who, so I graduated as a journalist. I was the last class in the Navy to be graduated as journalists. Right after us was the first, they're called Mass Communication Specialist, MC classes. So I went into the Navy with a skill set that nobody really had yet. Everybody was photographer or journalist or whatever. So I was able to like do well really fast.
Yeah.
So kudos to, I don't even remember his name, but shout out to my recruiter. I'm sure he remembers me, you know, you don't forget a face like this.
No, you definitely don't. So, okay. So, you got yourself the job and, you wake up in the morning, find yourself on, I assume, an airplane and heading to basic.
Yeah. So went through basic training. Grew up in a Navy
Where?
town. My father was in the Navy. I knew a lot of Navy people. I was given kind of the skinny on how like boot camp works. So I knew going in, like, don't take anything too personal, like, you know, whatever. But they still, there's, and I say it lovingly, there's a certain level of brainwashing that happens. You fall in love with the Navy in a way that never happens for probably the rest of anyone's career, right? But
Yeah.
you go through the process, you do the push-ups, and you get yelled at, and you run around, and you march in circles, and then you march in straight lines, and then you march backwards, and then you turn right really hard, and then you do more push-ups, and then you graduate boot camp.
How long is it?
8 weeks?
Oh,
8 weeks.
Okay.
8
2
weeks.
months.
Yeah. I'm one of the few people in the Navy who doesn't know how to swim. Fun fact. Who was in the Navy.
Hey, there you go.
Yep. They
Hey,
sent
there
me
you
to
go.
remedial
That's
swim. It was a Friday afternoon. And so I can swim. Like, I can swim in a straight line. I'm actually a really good swimmer. I can't tread water.
Okay.
I think
So
I
no
actually
Nimkish Lake jokes coming around, hanging out by the shore later this
Nimkish
September.
Lake. That's the lake up in, yeah. That's
Yeah.
it's right
They get lost right where we
here.
stay.
Right about
The
right
big
about here.
thing with
Yeah,
water
right there.
that you would
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's called
that thing.
the ocean.
Or fun fact, a lake.
Whoa.
I know.
Yeah, no,
Okay, so
no.
yeah.
I can go, but I
So-
can't stay in one place, which is a representation of my brain. So maybe,
Sure.
maybe ADHD is the reason why I can't tread water.
So where did you do basic at?
Great Lakes. That's where everyone goes through basic training.
Okay.
It's Great Lakes, Illinois.
right. Even Sean. Yes, sir.
Even Sean. Well, Sean's old enough, and I mean that lovingly. Sean's old enough that there might have been. So there used to be, I think, it was in Florida. There used to be two boot camps.
It's been a long
Anyways, the
time
point is
since he and
there's
I.
only one now.
He's on episode number 1. So if you want to find
Oh,
out this answer,
okay.
go back and listen to that.
Sean.
Yeah. Well, he lives like right there. So
He's great too.
where did you go
I like
after
him.
boot camp?
So from boot camp, I went to Odenton, Maryland, Fort
Ooh, all
George
right.
G. Meade, to the Defense Information School. So that was my A school. And how long was that?
How long?
10 weeks? 10, 12? 12 weeks, I think. That's where they taught me how to be a journalist. So I learned how to write things.
Fantastic. Okay.
I'm okay.
Congratulations.
I'm not the greatest writer,
Yeah.
but do okay. I can write a
Yeah,
story.
you do all right.
You might not want to read it, but I can write it.
So you move. So you did that A school for, you said, 12 weeks.
Yep.
And then take us to the
So
next.
I was away from home just long enough to be a big dumb baby and be like, I want to go back home. I want to get West Coast orders. I don't want to be far away from home. And so at the end of your training is the time when you get your orders. They bring everybody into a room. And I was real set. I want West Coast. I don't want to be that far away from home. I'd gotten real homesick. And up until really you get, the Navy's still kind of, in a good way, babies people and takes care of them. But you're really, everything's planned out. Everything is, you're supposed to be certain places, certain times. You can't just go out on your own. You're not an adult during basic training, obviously, or most of all of A school. There's a point behind that, but I don't want to get to it yet. So I was like,
Okay.
I want to go back to Washington or to California. I want to be close to home. I got orders to Norfolk, Virginia, and I was so mad about it. I was so upset that I was going to be so far away from home for the next fucking 4.5, 5 years. I was not happy about it. I couldn't tell you why now, but that was the greatest thing that ever could have happened to me.
Yeah.
I
can see that.
The best thing in the world that I think can happen to anybody is to get the fuck away from home. Get away from securities. Learn to survive mostly on your own. Yes, I had a well-paying job. Yes, for the first 6 months, 8 months on the boat, I had a place to sleep every night. I mean, obviously those are important. I'm not saying go be homeless. But I was in a place where my friggin' piece of shit truck that I bought broke down, and I'm just on the side of the road not knowing anybody. What do I do? I just had to deal with stuff and do life on my own. And I think I don't know, maybe it broke me, maybe it made me a better person, but I'm me now. So
I think it definitely gave you a lot of life skills that you wouldn't have had otherwise. When we're
Yes.
coddled and underneath the proverbial blankie, the security blankie there. Yeah, dude, I think that actually worked out pretty good. So, so you get through all your schooling and stuff, and you said you're at Norfolk, whatever.
Norfolk. And I'm not even
What
being
he
dramatic, just to say the F word. If you talk to locals, it is N-O-R, Norfolk. Norfolk.
All right.
That's how you're supposed
So,
to
yes, it's a
Norfolk.
pretty safe place, actually.
Dude, Norfolk
with Navy
sucks. All of Hampton.
Yeah.
Oh, the Navy is a the Navy's a reasonably safe place. But
Right.
Hampton Roads is the bigger area. So Hampton Roads is Newport News, Hampton, Norfolk, Virginia Beach,
There you go.
Chesapeake, whatever. So that whole area of Virginia is referred to as Hampton Roads for anybody who doesn't know.
I didn't, and I've been there multiple times.
Norfolk's a shithole. Norfolk's real rough.
Some places.
Dude,
I have the story.
There are some nice areas.
Yeah, I have the story. I stayed at this really kind of horrible truck stop once upon a time, and I took off on a walk. I ended up in this bar, and I'm pretty sure I was the only civilian in there. It was
that sounds right.
crazy. Yeah. So you get done with everything, and with your schooling,
Mm-hmm.
and you said you got on an aircraft carrier. What was that like when you got that news? Did you know you were going on a boat? And did you know what, or was it kind of a surprise?
So when you get your orders, you know where you're going. So I knew I was going to USS Harry S. Truman, CVN 75. I knew I was going to an aircraft carrier. I don't think any human can really grasp the concept of what an aircraft carrier is until you see it in person. It is so strangely it's the most massive boat that exists. Like, they're huge. Like, even like cargo fucking boats aren't as big, empty, as like an aircraft. Like, they're just fucking massive. And like I remember the first time I showed up and walked down the pier, and I was like, whoa. Like, it's just so fucking tall. Like, it's massive. But then you live on it for 6 months, and it's like a fucking tin can. Like, somehow it gets so small so quick. But there's
a lot of people on there too, right? 1,500 or something.
5,500 with the entire air wing. When you're on deployment, there's about 5,500 people on an aircraft.
On the one.
Yeah,
boat.
I think you're right. I think it's I used to know every single fucking fact because I had to give the tours, but most of it has escaped me. But I think you're right in it being like 1,500, 2,000 for ship's crew, because a shit ton of air wing personnel that come on. P-ways get a lot smaller when you're on deployment because there's so many more people. That's called the hallways for civilians. The hallways, passageways.
I gathered as much.
P-ways. Just
Perfect.
helping out the commoners.
So, was your the first time that thing departed and you went off for a while?
Like a week.
Was that pretty
like
amazing?
Or
was
was
it
not even that?
Wow.
Do you want to see?
That's
hold on.
quick.
Do you want to? Because I can share my screen. Hold on. Do you want to see the very first photo that I ever got published in the Navy? 7317W. If you ever want to look up Tallman Moto's Navy photos, all you have to do is search 7317W all together. Basically anything Navy is mine. Let me see if I can find it, because it's not like I have a fucking folder. So
you should.
So I was leading into this. So the biggest downside of when I was in the military, we were just transitioning to like digital, and we hadn't grasped the concept of like saving our own stuff. So I had all these digital images that should have been so easy to store, but back then hard drives were so expensive. There's so much of my stuff that I shot that I wish I still had. Fuck if I know where it ever went. Okay, ready?
But hey, you know how to Google
maybe.
it.
Bam, here you go. It's down at the bottom. You have to bring it up. Look at that.
Just did.
Cute.
Ooh, look
Cute.
at that.
Dead
Man.
fucking center.
So,
I was so
why don't
proud
you
of that shot.
why don't you describe this, because we do have a large audience base that listens to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts who generally may not be watching this on YouTube.
My first published photo looks something like a helicopter dead even from the back end, so the tail rudder is exactly centered, and the helicopter itself is banked at, what is that? Probably not quite a 45-degree angle, but pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah.
And the top flippy circle things, I forget the names of them. They're not rudders. What the hell are those called? Anyways, they're like cutting diagonally through, and then there's a nice little like sunrise in the background, because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and we were getting the fuck out for the very first time. I was really proud of that photo. It's really a very basic photo. It's not anything really exciting, but it was the first thing that I shot. So we were on the way out of Norfolk into the Atlantic Ocean, and I was standing up on the very top of the ship, and I was just taking all the photos, being so excited that I was a Navy photographer and there's so many cool Navy things happening. And I snapped like 4 photos. I didn't even do like a big long like. I just happened to get this one. I was so happy about it. I was like, look at this cool photo, and everybody's like, yeah, that's neat. And at the time, I was like, hey. Fast forward to like 4 years later, me. I had seen the same shot from like 6 different new people. It's like, oh, yeah. I played a lot more excited, though, because I feel like you should be excited about new photographers, even though they shoot all the same shit.
They got to find their footing, right?
Let people be excited about their exciting stuff. They don't know that it's not done before. It takes talent to get certain things.
It'd almost be like, what would be a good example there of things that have been done before? Let's just pretend, I don't know, somebody wanted to start a YouTube channel about motorcycle vlogging and adventure riding around.
How to change the oil.
Yes.
This is a well done how to change the oil video. That's what this photo is in the moto world. Yeah. It's good. It's really good. It's very descriptive. It shows the details of where the bolt's at, and it shows me exactly what type of oil. It's good, but a million other people have done it. Yeah, it's that. It's how to
I think maybe a little more than a million.
Yeah. I'd say.
Or change a tire in your garage.
Oh, God. Yeah, but Tallman Moto's Secrets They Never Told Me on YouTube video, that's the one to watch.
Okay.
Dude,
so you heard it here first.
So weirdly well.
That is the what do they call it? Slow grower.
Video. Yeah. Yes.
For now, we're gonna get into some of that things because I think you're doing something right now that is pretty unique.
Dude, I'm so excited.
I know, and you just can't hide it. So you guys bounce out of Norfolk, and you take a picture because you're standing up top. Where did you guys end up going?
So that was just the way that aircraft carriers work. They have to do, honestly, a deployment is the easy part of being on an aircraft carrier. So you spend anywhere between, God, what is it, like fucking 4, 5, 6 to 9 months? A long time. You will go, if you're stationed on an aircraft carrier and you're getting ready for a deployment, you will spend that like 9 months before the day you leave. We'll say 9 months roughly. Going out for 2-3 days, coming back in for a week, going back out for 4 or 5 days, coming back in for a day, finding out the day you come into work that you're leaving the next day for 6-7 days, come back in for 4 weeks, go out for 3 days, come back 2 days, go out for 4 weeks, come back a week. Like, it's so unpredictable, and it is exactly that, like, back and forth chaotic. Like, I wish I was being dramatic. But it is so like in and out, unplanned. It is, I don't know how people with families do it. If there's any one thing I'm thankful for, it's that I didn't have a child when I was in the Navy. Because I don't know how parents deploy. I could not do that. There is no way.
What year was this?
It's nuts. 2006 to 2011. Well, I was on the Truman from 2007. January 3rd to May 2011.
That's the only thing I didn't ask was kind of the timeline, the years and stuff. So we're kind of trying to put it all together for people. So you went out. How long was your longest deployment on the boat?
8 months. We got a little bit extended but the standard is 6 to 7 at the time. 6 to 7 was the standard. We got stuck out there a little bit longer for, I think, the first deployment. Maybe both. 7-8 months. But your point, so we went into, I went to Italy. We spent a week in Italy. That was the most fun I've had really anywhere. So we knew that was my first port call was Italy. And we knew 8-9 months before we left for deployment, we were going to Italy. A lot of other plans changed, but we knew we were going to Italy. So I did 2 years of Spanish in high school. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was I wanted to learn enough Italian to get by. So I spent 8-9 months just ADHD to the max diving into learning Italian. I couldn't even tell you how to say yes or no in Italian now. That has all disappeared. But the first night we went out, I was able to order for everybody at the table, explain to everybody what was on the menu. I was making jokes with the waitress. I asked to go back and take photos of the guy that was making the pizza that I ordered. I had the best week of my life in Italy. It was probably really bad Italian, but they saw I was trying, and I was able to communicate, and I thought it was the coolest thing. It was the first time that I was, like, immersing myself in a new culture. And it's probably the moment, and which I'm sure it is for everybody, right? Like, as soon as you actually go into a new culture, like, you realize, like, oh, shit, the world's bigger than my stupid little fucking hometown that I grew up in. And, like, from there, I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn about how other people live. Like, dude, I had so much fun in Italy. I didn't do anything really exciting. I went to Rome. I got to see the Colosseum. But most of my time was spent wandering, like, the local area of Naples. My favorite thing to do was to go sit at a local shop, order €1 bottles of wine, get a pizza, and just watch the world happen.
That does not suck.
Dude, yeah. Just watching another culture exist. Watching tiny little Italian cars run into each other and then continue about their way like it was no thing. Never, ever drive in Italy. It's insane.
Yeah, a lot of mopeds there, right?
A lot of mopeds, a lot of little cars. And if you look at this is what I was told, if you look at a driver in a car when you're standing at a crosswalk to cross, you're giving the driver permission to haul ass through that crosswalk. So in Italy, if you want to cross a crosswalk, you just have to stare at the ground and be like, please, God, Jesus, not today.
Oh my gosh. I like that you're doing like the little walkie thing with
because you have to do the shuffle and your feet have to move that fast to get across the crosswalk before you die. Italy was awesome. I loved it.
Okay, so Italy was definitely your high point, right? So what about
you know what? That's not
what
true.
are the cool? Oh,
that's not true.
We're backing up, kids.
Actually, we're going forward. The single highest point of any moment that I had, like overseas, and this is really like there have been moments in my life where I have like stopped and tried to redirect myself to this one moment because I think the lady was so right and she was so dead on. So, okay. So we pull into, I think it's called Crete. It's a little island off of Greece. And we were there for 5-6 days. So we were wandering around, just going to see, like, everything's old as shit in Greece. Nothing is new. It's all old. The architecture is old. And it's beautiful. So we're wandering around, taking photos, just living our best life, walking into old churches, having a time. And there's these two older ladies. I would have guessed late 80s. I would have guessed late 80s. And they're just having a time laughing and joking. And this is one of the few photos that I hate, that I cannot find. And I walked up and I was like, photographia or whatever the word was that I knew I needed to ask people to take their photo. And she's like, oh, yeah. And so I have this photo somewhere on a hard drive, somewhere, of these two old ladies against this old fucking brick wall. And one of them's just laughing, just cracking up. You froze in the middle of a blink, and I thought you were holding. I was like, "Is the story that boring?"
No,
So-
I actually find this. You're painting a really good picture for me. So you got the lady against the
try to-
wall
I
just
try to be
dying
visual.
laughing.
Yeah. So she
Yes.
and they're both old as shit, and it's just a simple picture of these
Are they
two old
old?
ladies having a time. Just one of them's laughing, and they just look both. But so after I took that photo, so they both spoke English. But it was like they had this old people, thick Greek accent. So she started talking to me about her nephew who moved to America. She's like, "You are from America?"
nice.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, yeah." My nephew moved to America, lived in New York, had a heart attack at 75. 75. So young, she said. And I was like, "Ma'am, I don't want to be rude. How old are you?" She said 102. 102. This lady was so old. She was so old. And she's just like out walking around, laughing, chalking it up. So she went into this whole thing about Americans and how they're so stressed out and they're so focused on work and money and so much stress all the time. And then she referenced her nephew who had a heart attack so young at 71 or 75 or whatever it was, but it was definitely 70s. And she kept saying how young he was. But she was really focused on like how obsessed with work America was, and we stress about everything and this and that. And then she went into this whole thing about you have to relax and this and that, and life is worth living, and you don't need
She's
to worry
not
about a
wrong.
job and this. Yeah, she had this whole inspirational, deep fucking conversation about like, bro, live life and fuck work. Was essentially, in Greece, they shut down for like 3 hours in the middle of the day to take naps and have lunch. And I'm not even being dramatic. I'm not like summarizing something else. They shut down for lunch and naps to just relax in the middle of the day because they don't give a shit about selling stuff and making huge amounts of profits. They make enough to live and they're there to enjoy life. And I was like, whoa.
Dude, so I had a bit of a whoa moment, kind of like that, but it wasn't an actual conversation with anybody. We were actually walking through Hawaii, Lahaina, actually before those fires hit
Mhm.
up. We've been to Maui and Lahaina, I don't know, 2 times now, I think. And one of the times we were just walking down Main Street, and we wanted to go to this place. I don't know, like maybe it was gelato or something. I don't know. So we were just bouncing by, and it was closed, and it was the middle of the day. And I
Mhm.
cannot remember exactly what the sign said, but paraphrasing something about the day is beautiful, the waves are perfect. We'll be back when we're back. Out surfing. I
Yeah.
was just like, man, I love it. That way of life. Those two people, just the way they think is so different than the American way of life.
And it is like it's so frustrating because I think it's honestly it's more stressful becoming aware of like what are we doing? Like what
Yeah.
are we doing? Working ourselves to the bone and as a bigger society, right? Because I think I don't know, dude, it just sucks. Like why can't we just take 2 hours off in the middle of the day to just check our own
Right?
mental shit? To just relax.
Oh man,
To just
Wouldn't
get
that be
together with
great?
our coworkers for a 2-hour lunch break and just hang out.
because the American
Why not?
CEOs are kind of peckerheads.
I'm
That's what
sure
it
they're
comes down
taking
to.
2-hour lunches.
I mean, when I had a
Those
warehouse, that was a little
commoners.
longer than that.
It's fucking normal workers. Okay, how do pee breaks work during a podcast? Do you just hit pause?
I will just hit pause if you need to go tinkle tinkle, because that's
I think it's
actually kind of a
tinkle
good.
time.
And we're back
The
from the pee
real
break.
live.
we're real
Back from
live
the
now.
pee break for real, 100%.
Right, meow. So we were talking about just kind of slowing down life and how other cultures really kind of see us for, I hate to say it, but for what we are. You know,
Well, yeah, dude, we're
we're
just America's just so, and it's not the worst part is it's not the people. Like it's not the day to day. Oh my, we're really running down a rabbit hole. Like I don't know
Let's
how far
go.
you want to go down this.
Let's go.
But like average America is like the victim of corporate success. I don't even know. God, I don't even know. Like I don't even know how to describe it because I don't have an established soapbox for this. But
Let's get up on it,
like,
kid. Let's go.
We are stuck working. Hold on, I got to adjust. I've got a lot of headspace here. It's the ADHD. I noticed that my camera's a bit messy, and I'm not here for a messy shot.
There you go.
Dude, we're stuck working and
Fix
slaving away.
that anyways.
And you go to other parts of the world that are like, dude, we work 5 hours a day. Enjoy our lives.
Just that.
And we're just, what happened to America? I still love you, America. You're still my number one. Canada, you're my number one too. They can be tied for first. Shut up. It just,
Sure.
man, it just sucks. It just sucks that other places get it. And we're stuck doing what we're doing, paying $600,000 for what used to be a $220,000 starter house.
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. The housing market around here is, from where I'm at, it's ridiculous. I don't know how else to say
You're
it.
outside of Bend?
Yes, a long
yeah.
ways outside of Bend.
Yeah.
I'm actually outside of Portland.
Oh.
Bend is about 140 miles away or something. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so Portland's damn near exactly the same thing that is happening in Washington. Like at least it's a little bit cheaper down in the
I don't.
area. But yeah, no, Portland's basically exactly the same bullshit that's happening in Washington State.
Yeah, fortunately, we have a few counties around here. So, like Multnomah County, I'll never live in Multnomah County. It's kind of a joke. Clackamas County, Washington County, whatever, Marion County around here. Those are all
Clackamas.
Clackamas. Those are more rural.
It's a really solid boat.
Where do you think it's made? So, anyways, yeah, man, the whole.
Where were we? We were talking about.
I wanted to
Navy.
move on, but I just went straight back to working so hard, and then
I know. Sorry.
Like
I triggered all of our listeners. I fucking work hard too. Everything sucks. Hey, buddy, it's gonna be okay. Listener, listener. Hey, listener, listen extra hard. It's gonna be okay, man. Lady,
everything
person,
is gonna be okay.
It's gonna be all right.
Yeah,
we're gonna get through it. Or ADV riders, here's the exciting part. When the world finally falls apart, we are so ready to just go hang out in the woods together. Like nothing's even happening. When the world goes to shit, the plus side? We get to camp full time and not have to worry about bills. Yes, 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 yes. If you weren't excited about the apocalypse before, you're welcome for a reason to be excited about the apocalypse.
I know things are going to happen. We're going to start getting drop pins from all our buddies.
Camping without responsibilities to go back to? Hell yes!
Let's go make sure there's water there. I got my bow and arrow.
Screw it.
How many of the guys come with like ARs strapped on their backs, all there.
Whatever. Yeah, be ready.
Yeah.
You can keep a perimeter outside our camp.
Go. There you go. You want to be soldier boy? Go. Yeah, dude.
But
I don't know. I know enough Marines. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah,
yeah. You're good by proxy,
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just go to soils. So, anyways.
That dude's ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
we're staying clear of that. So.
I fucking love it. I love Pete. I love Pete so much. Pete's such a good dude.
He's great.
We were talking about soils like soilsmen, right?
Yes, we were talking about the same guy.
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah. Pete's the man.
Dude, Pete's the fucking one of the greatest humans I've ever met.
I agree with that 100%. So where'd you go after Greece? Meet the old ladies, or you're kind of like, "What's up, ladies?"
I wasn't. So I was married. That worked out. I was married my first deployment. So I wasn't like a big like party guy. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, same.
Listen, let's take a minute. For anybody thinking about joining the military, don't fucking get married right out of boot camp. It's a bad idea. If you're like, but I love the person, live with them for 2.5 years and just live together. You don't have to get married. Don't get married. Don't get married until you're 23. 23 seems like a good age. But only if you're 18 and you think, I love you, I want to get married right away. Don't do that. Just live together. There's no real tax benefits that say we need to be married right now. Wait until 23. Be in love from 18 to 23 and just live together.
Yeah, all
Don't
the
do
perks.
that. It's all the same. It's all the same thing. If you're smart, you're going to married, filing single on your taxes anyways. So there's no benefits to getting married. Here's the problem. I said all those young sailors, they get married so they can get BAH. It's not worth it, guys. Point is, I was married my first deployment.
Dude, were you married on your first deployment?
Sweetheart. It's a bad idea. Shouldn't have done that. Would have had a lot more fun on my deployment if I was married. She was having a lot of fun on my deployment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you did meet a 102-year-old.
I wasn't married to her. Oh, I see what you're saying.
So where'd you go after Greece, kid?
So we did a whole lot of time in Dubai. Lot of time in Dubai between both deployments, which was really cool. So we went in 2007, 2008, and we saw. So we got to be in Dubai as Dubai was becoming what we know Dubai to be.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
The infant stages of what it is now.
So they were building all the structures, and they were like, we're going to be the coolest city in the world. But when we showed up, it was all in production. Then we came back for my second deployment, and Dubai was Dubai. And it was fucking awesome. Yeah, Dubai was still kind of cool as they were trying to become the world's coolest place. But when we came back for my second deployment, it was fucking awesome. It's just, but Dubai is also the worst place in the world. So there's no middle class in Dubai.
Right.
Speaking of America and how terrible it is, Dubai sucks if you like are there. There is oil rich and the people that work at the mall. There's no middle ground, which I didn't know while we were there, so you don't see any of that. So you're like, oh, this is cool. But the sad part about Dubai is there's rich, and there's poor. There's like no middle ground there, which I just think is interesting culturally. Like, what happened to the middle class? They gone. So Dubai, here's a fun fact about Dubai a lot of people don't know about, and I didn't know. I'm still salty about it. I didn't know this. The cab driver told me about this, and I went and researched it afterwards. I was like, no way. Cab driver, as we're going back to the boat to leave Dubai for the last time I'm ever at Dubai, this cab driver explains to me, because I was like, there's like 4 or 5 like expensive cars on the side of the road. He's like, oh, people just leave those there. I was like, excuse me? He says, yeah. When a fancy, expensive vehicle hits a certain mileage, the drivers will get out, leave the keys and the title in the car, and there's a company that comes around and picks these vehicles up, and they auction them off. This is like a regularly accepted thing. I could have picked up a Shelby GT 500 Mustang for like $12,000 American. I would have paid stupid amounts of money to get it back to America, but it still would have been less than buying it brand new in America.
Jeez.
So you can buy these like super like Lamborghini, Ferrari, fucking shit that I don't even know how to pronounce, crazy expensive vehicles. These people drive them for like 10,000, 20,000 miles. And as soon as they hit this next level of mileage, they consider it shitty and used, and they leave it on the side of the road. And there's a company that comes along, picks them up, and auctions them off.
Can you imagine the business model for that company?
Level of rich.
Jesus.
That's how rich Dubai is. They just drop their
insane.
$250,000 Ferrari on the side of the road, and they're like, used, I'm going to go buy a new one. And they do. They just go buy another one. They have somebody pick them up. Their buddy picks them up, drives them to the fucking Lamborghini dealership. They're like, all right, cash. Dubai's wild.
Dude, I mean, that's just next level. Yeah.
We went to the Dubai Mall, which is, hold on, I'm going to look it up because I want to know. I looked this up recently, and then ADHD, I forgot it. Dubai Mall square footage. So we walked around this place for a full week before we got through the whole thing.
Holy Christ, really?
3.77 million square feet. That's how
city.
big the Dubai Mall is.
That's like a small city.
It's got like 7 stories or something like that. Like 5 or 7 stories. It's insane. The Dubai Mall is insane. It is beautiful. The architecture is amazing. It's, as we just discussed, massive. 1,200 retail stores, 2 anchor department stores, and more than 200 food and beverage outlets. I have just over there. I know exactly where my Taco Bell from Dubai menu is. That's written in whatever that language is.
Oh, Arabic.
It was the best fucking Taco Bell I've ever had in my life, by the way. I was so upset about it. I knew the second bite, the first bite, I was like, damn, this is delicious. The second bite was, fuck, I'm never going to have Taco Bell this good ever again in my life.
It's probably real, not what we're used to.
No, 100%. No, it was the same shit. It was just beautifully prepared. Brought a tear to my eye. It was so good. It's delicious Taco Bell. I'll never have again.
You know, you talk about being in some of
Taco
these
Bell.
places around the world, and it again, you know, like episode 1 with Sean. I wonder how close you guys were to one another, crossing paths at some point in your years.
I think it was
like not close at all.
I'm trying to remember what he was. I had a funny joke about never saw him because he never went in the light, but I couldn't remember what his job was. I would be curious if there was any overlap. But he's old.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was probably finishing his career when you were starting it.
Yeah, you know. He's probably like.
He worked in electronic warfare, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what his exact job was, but.
Well, if you listen to our last episode, we did a current view, and we talked about the Red Sea and the Houthis and shooting missiles. And
I saw that one, but I can't bring myself to listen to it because I get intense.
I think it's very so. One of the things with
actually
there is, and dude,
it's so frustrating.
We only did Cliff Note version of everything, honestly, and it was like an hour and 40-something minutes long.
Yeah,
and it was really well, and there's a lot of knowledge and information coming in from Sean, and you know, but at the end of the day, it was just a very quick Cliff Note version of it. And one of the things I really want to make sure to do with those current view episodes is to stay neutral. We all have certain biases, but I don't want to bring.
Dude, it's about facts.
Yeah, I don't want to bring politics into it. So
yes, 100%.
Anyways,
I would love to do one of those if you ever want to do it, because that is I'm very aggressive about, like, when people start. That's why I don't like talking politics, is because you start talking about like current events and what's happening, and then people are like, well, it's because of the current president Obama's because of his sub-political. No, shut the fuck up. It's not about any of that.
Right.
People are actually killing people in this place, and we should just be aware of that. It's
so
not
whether you're
because Exxon Mobil is paying the aliens to fart in our faces. It's just what's happening. Although I think ExxonMobil is paying aliens to fart in their faces. I'm pretty sure.
I think
But-
that's legit. I mean, I've been around Area 51. I
Sorry,
might have seen them.
I don't want to get too
It's
deep,
all right,
you know,
man.
too deep in the woods.
Well, we can get our
Sometimes I say
tinfoil hats
things
on
and
and
I'm
we
like-
can go there.
What is wrong with me?
I'm asked that all the time because my inner 12-year-old is always like right there all the time, ready to go.
Yeah, I'm still
So-
trying to evaluate like how did you come up with ExxonMobil paying aliens to fart in our faces? And I'm like, I don't know. It just happened. Like, even inside, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Dude, I don't know.
Well,
I
you
just come
know.
up with this stuff.
So
It's
when
funny.
did you get out of the Navy? What year was that again?
May 4th of 2011.
May the 4th of 2011 be with you. Hey, look at that, Star Wars guy. So get out of the Navy.
The Navy.
Was
the
was your-
Navy.
was your
Hold on, we didn't even
transition?
talk about the French. I always want to make fun
Oh.
of the French. No, it was
Yeah.
funny. We went to France and they're the worst. So that's it. That's all. France is like America.
No. We all over the floor. Go back. Let's find out more about this French stuff.
Okay, so here's why I love and hate France equally.
Okay.
France is America. They are one and the same. And both parties hate that statement equally, which is why I'm okay with saying it. Here's my experience with France. I honestly had a great time in France. I thought Marseille was nice. I have an obtained glass with a weird, sexy giraffe right over there. I can go grab it if you want to see it. It's great. It's weird. It's going to confuse you emotionally on a lot of different levels. So part of my job when I was in the Navy was going to take photos on my own of events that Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, MWR, would put on for sailors. So this organization, MWR, goes out and finds places to host events so that when you go into different places, you have tours set up, blah, blah, whatever. They take one photographer on each of those tours. Now, why this is unique is because when you're in the Navy and you go overseas, you have to have what's called a Liberty Buddy. You can't just go out on your own. There's a weird gray area for specifically media people. When we come back, you're supposed to go get a Liberty Buddy and then go back out. We don't have to check back in. So media people just sort of kind of forgot to go get a Liberty Buddy, and we always just went and did shit on our own because there's no better way to experience the world than 100% on your own. So you can just be a fly on the wall and watch the world happen. So I walk into this bar. I go sit down. I'm on the far end of the bar on my own. Just sitting there hanging out. Bartender comes up in full English, says, "What can I get for you?" A little bit of a French accent. I was like, what's your favorite thing on tap? So one of my favorite things to do, any bar I go in, so I like to ask the bartender, what's your favorite thing on tap? And then I'll just try something new because I like all beers. Not picky. So it's fun for me. What's your favorite thing on tap? Bartender says this, whatever. Sorry, I'll have that. Serves it up, brings it to me. Pleasant interaction. So I'm sitting there drinking my beer. About 20 minutes later, two very American Americans come walking in the bar. They've got an accent. We won't say where they're from. They've got boots. We won't say what type of boots they are. They've got hats. We won't say what type of hats they are because I'm not trying to judge anyone. But they were very American. So they come in, and that's all well and fine. I'm not judging them. They come in, and they're like, this is where I started judging them. The first thing they say, well, do y'all speak American?
Oh no!
And then I'm not even kidding. American. And there was like 3 or 4 guys. The one guy says it. The guy next to him smacks him. Is like, dude, it's English. Do they speak English? He's like, oh, sorry, y'all speak English. So there's this one like bull-headed idiot leading the pack. This is why I love and hate France. We'll say France bartender. We'll call him France. France says to dumb American in French, this is the only thing I know, is no parlez-vous anglais. I know it's not true because I just talked to him. But I'm just going to watch the situation play out. And the guy's like, I don't know what that means. He's like, no speak English. Like he says it really shitty, bad French accent, over the top, questioning himself. Is that what I'm really saying? He's like, oh, fuck this bar too. And the guy turns around and fucking marches out. And his little group fucking follows him out. And then some other French patron says to the bartender, these fucking Americans, every time they pull in here. And then the bartender, they laugh, and the bartender looks down at me and gets like weird. I was like, no, Americans are the fucking worst. It's cool. He bought me the next round. He's like, hey, you are a funny American, yeah? All right. Next round is on me. And I was like, all right, cool. Thanks,
Yeah,
buddy.
all right, cool. I'll drink your free beer.
We're the fucking worst. I get it. But it was the most like, if you don't speak French, fuck you. Whereas America's like, if you don't speak English, fuck you. It was just the most like exact same battling of the same viewpoint in your own. I thought it was fucking funny as shit. I was like, you're both fucking.
See the humor in that, especially when the bartender, in your point of view, already having conversation with the bartender, earning the respect already, and then he doing that.
No, speak English. Sorry. Big dumb fucking oaf's like, oh, this fucking bar too.
Yeah, oh man. Yeah, it sounds like Cletus and Barley were there.
It was real entertaining.
I bet it was, man.
So yeah,
I bet it was.
That was my time in France. I did not go see the Eiffel Tower because I don't care. I don't care.
It's metal.
Everybody I've ever talked to is like, you see it? Looks like the movies, and that's it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to spend $120 to go all the way up to Paris. I'm just going to hang out in Marseille and steal a sexy giraffe cup glass.
Dang. Love it.
It's weird. It's weird. It's like orange juice, too. It's an orange juice company.
Okay.
Might even be what's the popular orange juice company? I need to go get it. Can you just
go get it. Just go get it.
It's right around here.
You go, girl.
We'll talk about sexy giraffes and why they're important.
All right.
Or something.
I'm not going to talk about sexy giraffes, but this has been pretty fun learning a little bit more about him, and we're going to start taking a direction out of the Navy. I'm really curious. I can hear just. We're going to start steering towards motorcycles here pretty soon.
Yeah, for the first time in years.
Stop.
Guys, look at this.
He's back. Stop talking about
Look at her. Look. Hold on. Let me autofocus. Hold on. I gotta
autofocus that thing.
Instant autofocus. Look at how sexy that giraffe is. It's weirdly sexy. A weirdly sexy giraffe.
What? The Farkle?
It's from Marseille, France. Isn't that weird? It's the weirdest thing.
That is hilarious.
That's why I had to steal it.
So if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, sorry, there is no describing that. It's just
no, there's describing it. I can 100% describing it. Okay, so think of a giraffe. Okay, so you've got giraffe print of giraffe.
It's
now imagine the giraffe just stands up. So now the giraffe is on its hind legs. Then the giraffe, as a human standing stance, sits down on an ice cube. Now the giraffe's
flash dance. The giraffe is borderline flash dance. Bro, you're young.
Oh,
everybody my generation got it.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. As you were.
So the now bottom feet, the feet of the giraffe, because the top feet are now hands, even though they're still hooves. The bottom feet have grown heels, but it's hoof heels. It's sitting on an ice cube with like a sexy leg pose. It grew big boobs. It put a brassiere on, and it's sucking a straw with a very short neck for a giraffe out of naturalmente pulpuese. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, that was a very complicated, ignorant situation. The point is it's drinking weird orange juice of a very long straw with big giraffe boobs. It's weird.
So why did you really keep
Oh,
it?
man.
It's big boobs or something?
Look at it. Look at
I
it.
know, I probably would have done the
I
same
remember when
thing.
they brought it out, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I obviously need to steal this and keep it forever. 1-2 thought, no question. It's just so, dude, it's so weird.
We're totally different.
Orangey.
You're like,
I don't know,
I
it's
have to
weird.
have this. I have to steal it. I would have been. My train of thought is, I have to have this. How much is it? Can I buy this from you?
No, by so so I had a friend, and the friend was like, "You need to take one thing from every place." And I was like, "You mean buy?" They're like, "No, take. Find a small something." I was like, weird. And then I have a teacup, it's espresso. It's an espresso cup and a plate.
You borrowed.
It-
Don't incriminate yourself.
They convinced me to take it. And then I was like, oh, it's a fun rush of stealing thing. And then from there, it just grew.
Your kleptomania grew out of control.
Every country that I've been to, I have one thing.
Okay. How many countries have you been to?
Realistically, 4. I have a cool
So you only have
weird
4
toy.
things.
Yeah, I don't have a
Wait.
lot
We
of
built
things.
that up, and it was like every country I've been to. So everybody's thinking like, God, I wonder if it's like 10, 20, 50. How many countries have you been to? Yeah, 4. I've been to
You hear a lot of
United
people
States,
You
Canada.
hear a lot of people say a lot of positive things about my YouTube channel, and you get there and you're like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" Tallman Moto, like and subscribe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. If you're wondering what the thing is from Greece, it's a giant ass mug with Carlsberg. It's like a metal Carlsberg emblem on the glass. This is the one day that when I was in the Navy, we decided we're going to go out and drink. Not
Oh boy, here we
anything
go.
but. Honestly, it's really not even like an exciting story, except for the fact that we went to an American themed bar. It was the most obnoxiously Texas country theme I've ever seen in my life, but I loved it. We drank a shit ton of Carlsberg beer. I had a hoodie on at the time. It was an Old Navy hoodie. I still have the hoodie even. And I decided I'm going to take this mug. And I probably could, because the bartender was super fucking cool. I probably could have been like, hey man, can I have this mug? And he probably would have been like, yes. But I was like, no, I'm taking it. I'm going to take this mug. I'm going to steal it. Ha 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 ha. Because I was not sober. So I stuffed this mug, this giant fucking glass mug, into my sweatshirt I vividly remember the handle sticking straight out. Because I remember thinking, he looked like a penis. and then we had to vacate the premises. We had paid our tab, to be fair. We had paid our tab. So it's not like I drank all day and I was running, but I decided, okay, I stole it. Now I need to leave. There was a door to position myself. So there's a door here. There was a giant window here. Doors right here. The door, the go out door. There's a giant window that I knew I could fit through right here. I decided to climb through that window. I don't know why. Opened the window, stepped through it, had to go up and over the little like outdoor patio bar situation. My buddy's like, why are you going through the window? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm halfway through. Then we went and hung out on the beach. And then we got ice cream sundaes. That's what I remember. And then we learned that you could walk down the street drinking tall boys.
Hello.
And that was a game changer. We were like, you can drink in public? And the guy at the little convenience store was like, yeah, we do it all the time. I was like, okay.
You realize
Dude,
what you just
that
told
one
us.
day, that one drunk day in Greece was so much fun. And we didn't get in any trouble. We didn't do anything stupid. We drank a lot. We had a lot of fun. I did steal a mug, so I guess we did one thing wrong, but worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it.
It's all good. Worth it. Well, that's actually pretty funny, man. You know,
But fuck
learning
France.
all that. Oh, yeah. But you were saying you've only been to 4 countries, and that was only in the Navy, right? Not total.
Well,
'Cause you had
well,
to-
there's also Canada.
Okay. Right.
I don't consider Canada another country. I consider it
You
another
should,
colony.
because there's this like parallel, and
They're-
you got to go
they're-
through
they're-
customs.
Oh no, they're not the same. They're definitely better.
It depends which way you're going, right? Canada's like,
Canada?
hey, come on in. When you're
Yeah,
trying to
Canada's
come back,
great.
they're like, whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
no.
whoa, whoa, whoa. What's
No,
in the
America's like-
bags?
America's like, what's up there?
Well, when
You
you're
know what
been
I'm
motor
talking
camping
about.
for a week, all you have to do is like, dude, it is my dirty underwear and dirty socks and dirty
So,
dishes. So
Funny story, the last 3 times I've come back from Canada, there is another Matthew D. Williams, born on the same day, March 10th, guys. My birthday's coming up. Who apparently decided to beat his wife or girlfriend, and now there's a protection order against this Matthew D. Williams, born on
Oh,
March
wow.
10th of 1988. So the last 3 times, the last time we came through, so we went up for just a day trip. There's a reasonably really good Old Gale, I think it's called Old Gale, a brewery with really good poutine. So we went up specifically just to get Timmy's and poutine. We were coming back, and the guy was like, what was the purpose for your visit? I was like, poutine. He's like, was that the only reason for your visit? And I was like, that's how I know you're American. Like I went a little ham with it because I know better. I know they're at this point. I was briefly married to a Canadian. We can dive into that because we're still only on my Navy journey. I did a lot of border crossing. So eventually at some point I learned there's like, it's like a thing for them to try and be like, I have no emotion. I'm trying to intimidate you. I am not going to let you know I have a sense of humor. And I wanted to try and break that. Like when I learned it was okay to joke with them and they weren't going to be like, let me check your butthole. I wanted to see how far I could take it for a while. And then I had to learn to walk the line. But now when I'm coming back, I like to see it. I'm like, can I get you to break? Can I get you to break? Most of the time I fail. They're pretty good at keeping the straight face, but every once in a while. Guy was like, was there any other reason for your visit? And I was like, that's how I know you've never crossed the border. And he looked at me for a second, and then he like smiled a little bit, and he's like, sir, I don't understand what you mean. I was like, you're going to tell me you've never had poutine? Like I was really dramatic about it. I was like, you're going to tell me you've never had poutine? And like he smiled a little bit and they got serious and he's like, I've had poutine. I was like, so you get why I went to Canada for poutine. Sorry, I need you to pull around. Damn it.
No.
But it was because of
okay.
Matthew D. Williams in, I don't know, fucking Iowa, Illinois, somewhere in the Midwest. Listen, hey, Matthew D. Williams that beats his girlfriend on March 10th of 1988 birthday. Fucking stop it if you watch this, because you're making my life difficult at the border. Don't beat women. In general, don't. But extra you, because...
What we're going to need to do with that, Matthew, is we're going to need you to stop, and then we're going to need you to go to Tallman Moto and like, subscribe, share.
You owe me a subscription for making my life difficult, sir.
There you go.
All right.
I tell
so
you
we
what,
solved
man.
that.
My last time coming through, we were taking the coho, so we were still on the Canadian side there in Victoria. We were waiting to board, and we had to go through the little house thing. The dude in there was the biggest asshole I've ever seen at a border.
Always are.
He was the worst. Like, he came in and was just like,
oh yeah, there we go.
Why were you here? Or what's your purpose? Or, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I hand him my passport and he looks at it and he's literally looking at it and he takes it in his 2 hands like this and just tosses it. Like I'm standing here and he tosses it that way down the counter. And I was just like, yeah, have a good day. I chuckled on my way out.
I had
Wow.
one who he did kind of the same thing and he he flicked. So I have an enhanced driver's license. So in the state of Washington, if you're going to Canada or Mexico, they have what's called, and this is more for the viewers than it is for you, because I'm sure you probably know about this, the
We have 'em
listeners
too here.
and viewers.
Mm-hmm.
So they have what's called enhanced driver's license, which is essentially a replacement for a passport for specifically North America, so Canada and Mexico. So my driver's license gets me across the border, is the whole point of that, to say, this dude he did the exact same thing. He fucking flicked that shit back into my car. It shot over to the passenger seat and just like threw it back in. And I remember it happening, and I was like, bro, what the fuck? And he goes, excuse me? And I like caught myself, and I was like, have a good day, sir.
And like, you could have handed it to me instead of throwing it over on the passenger side.
I have had one shitty Canadian crossing guard. And I shouldn't say crossing guard. That diminishes them. Border patrol official. I've had one, and that was honestly that was the way up. That was the way up when we went to go get poutine. But you know what? I can't even fault him, because if I'm coming into Canada just to get, he said, what's the purpose of your visit? I was like, oh, we're going to get some poutine. And it was kind of the same thing as coming back, but he got like weird about it. So I've had training in certain things to where I can recognize, like, I'm aware when I'm being interrogated versus just like a conversation. I was like, he said, what's the purpose of your visit? We're going to get poutine. He goes, and? Just poutine. Going to visit anybody? No. You're not going to visit anyone. And that's when I knew it was turning, because he was staring directly at my eyeballs. And so what I decided to do, because I'm a weirdo, I decided to match him. So like, he's intensely staring at me. So I was like, I went from like glancing and like answering questions to like, I realized he said, you're not going to visit anyone? I said, no. And then he really locked in. Like, he wasn't good at it, but he just really locked in to look for tells. And so I looked back, and he was like staring at me. And so I was like, because I'm an idiot, I decided to match him. I just committed to not blinking. And he's like, is there any, do you have any firearms in the car? I was like, no. I went straight to like stoic answers. Do you have any firearms in the car? No. Any tobacco? I have a vape. He said, does it have THC? I said, no, only nicotine. Like, I went straight, I went for it. Like, I was like, I'm going to break this guy, because I've never had like a dick Canadian crossing guard. But this guy's,
Border Patrol.
Dude, he's just being serious. He was real. Yeah, that. They're actually called, what are they called? I don't remember. Point is, they're crossing guards. They're guarding the crossing from terrorists. They're crossing guards.
The guardians of the crossers.
I'm sorry, you probably lost like one Border Patrol subscription just now. Canadian Border Patrol. That's what they're called, CBP. Shout out to... No, I didn't. I was making direct eye contact the whole time. Shout out to the Canadian Border Patrol, because they're always dope, except for that one guy. You know what's funny is we pull away, and the first thing that my girlfriend says is, we should buy him a T-shirt from the brewery and bring it back to him. He was sure at one point he goes, how long are you going to be there? I was like, probably a couple hours. He goes, how long are you going to be there? And I snap back, I'm like, 12 hours. And I was like, I said, wait, no, I wouldn't be at a brewery for 12 hours. 3.5 hours.
4 hours, 15 minutes, and 37
And he was
seconds.
like, what do you want? I don't know. Maybe I'll get lost at a bookstore. I don't know. I don't know how long I'm going to be.
You should have just looked at your girl and said, dude, we're coming up on a date day. We want to get poutine. We want to go to the brewery, and then we're going to leave.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
How long are you going to be here? Long enough to get Timmy's and poutine. And
ladies and gentlemen, right
Timmy's.
now, make sure you like, subscribe, share to Tallman Moto, and make sure you keep an eye on his merch store for the new T-shirt saying, how long are you going to be here?
That's a clever one. How long are you going to be here?
So I have like a total dad joke. So every time I go somewhere, so here in the United States, I am a CCW, concealed weapons holder, right? So whatever, pew pew. But when I
I
go
can
somewhere
just
where
hear
I
the
know I
comments.
can't,
I can hear the comments now.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's not a
But
United States thing.
yeah, not at all. Um, when I go in somewhere and somebody asks me, they go, "Sir, do you have any firearms on you?" And I just go, "Does this one count?"
Pow. Deadly weapons, sir.
Yeah,
We meant
very
deadly
deadly.
weapons.
Yeah, for those of you that didn't see that, I have a flame tattoo thing on my arm, so it's a funny dad joke. Okay, anyways, bye. So moving away from your exquisite border crossing
Yeah, we
techniques.
really ran down a rabbit hole, but you know
Yeah,
what?
we did. It's
I'm here for
it's
it.
Gucci. I'm here for it too. So you get out of the old navaroo and you move on to kind of civilian life, adult life, getting a job, and
Being a
you
real
you ended up
grown-up.
right, but you ended up having a critter at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So you got 1/12/37ths of one kid. What? How many kids
No,
do you
just
have?
one full child.
One full child.
One
That's
full, now 11-year-old doesn't want to do her homework and thinks that's acceptable.
well, you know, we all go through that,
Lies
right?
to her mother. Does all the things that. Here's the problem: is that for the first 10 years, I was really excited that my child was not me. Now, if you look at my child, she's a carbon copy, but in a girl version. So you know she's my. I could never, ever, ever pitch. She's not my child. It's obvious. But she's not me. She's like cares about other people, and she's smart and aware of the world. None of the things I was as a child. And then she went into 5th grade. She
Yeah.
fucking hates school. She has she definitely has ADHD. We're working on getting her diagnosed. But it's starting to become like a problem.
Oh man, yeah.
And it is so frustrating because as a parent, I just want to be like, yeah, fucking homework sucks. You're never going to focus on it. You're never going to be good at it. And you're going to struggle for the next 8 years. You know what? Funny enough, there's a text from her mom, and it's a picture of my child as I'm just dramatically looking at my phone. Talk about your child, there appears your child. It's
There you
weird
go.
fucking timing. And the point is, I want to say, you're borderline hopeless. Like, good luck. Because I don't know what to, but I have to come up with like parent things and be like, you'll have to prioritize because otherwise, things. I don't fucking know what to say because I dealt with and did the exact same shit as a kid, and it's not like I don't have answers. I'm almost 36, and in the last 3 years, I think I've really started learning how to cope with ADHD. I don't know what to tell you. Fuck, do your homework or you'll die. Fuck.
Do your homework or you will die.
You will
Yeah.
keel over and die. Do you want your heart to stop beating? Because that's what happens if you don't do your, like, I don't know. Where do I go with this?
Left. You always go left. That's the golden rule. Oh man. Well, fortunately that I know that one of my kids had a really difficult time growing up and being an adult and learning how to do that adulting thing. So
It's difficult.
there was a period of his life where I was just like, I don't know, man. And then he met Shelby and poof, he became one of the most amazing young men that I've ever known. So
Shout out to Shelby.
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, man. They just gotta ride their own ride, and
He's got it figured out.
they'll figure it out. So, how old were you when you started kind of learning about these motorcycle things? It's pretty recent, wasn't it?
So I've wanted a motorcycle since like I was a kid. I lived out on the East Coast for almost 9 years, and the roads out there, I had no interest in getting a bike or a permit. Like the condition of the roads sucks. Like I don't know how people on the East Coast ride motorcycles. They do all over the place, but like the potholes are like this fucking
Soul
deep,
snatchers.
dude. They go to below the crust. Yeah, you hit one of those and your whole frame is dead. Everything.
It's gone.
Just all of it snaps in half. So I waited until I got back out here, moved out here in January of 2015, came back home to the West Coast. June of 2015, I got my endorsement. And I bought a shitty 1985 Honda Shadow for $500 off Craigslist.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. When you download it, it all works. Yeah, you look irritated. Oh, okay. Okay. So we're talking. Yeah, buddy. Oh, man. I hear you. Great, man. So we're going to continue. It's all right.
Push through. Oh,
Yeah,
now
we'll
I'm
push
a thing.
through.
Yep, there I am.
Now, yes,
FaceTime
sir.
HD camera. We don't want to use that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what happened?
Do we need to pause this thing again?
Maybe. This
Yeah.
really broke. This happened
Oh,
on my
no.
live once. Out of all the lives I've done, it happened once.
Okay, well, we're having some technical issues here real quick. So we're going to go ahead and pause this, wait for Matt to get his thing back up, and we'll be right back. So we got our
we're
technical
back.
tofu. Yeah, that's right. We're back. We got the technical tofu
Jeez Louise.
figured out. It's all good, man. So you were talking about the 1985 Honda Shadow.
1985 Honda Shadow VT500C that I did not fit on. Dude, my knees were up over the tank, and I didn't know any better because it was my first bike, and I was like, well, this is how life is. Second day after having that permit, I was going up on all friggin' days to the one person who told me I shouldn't get a motorcycle because it's dangerous. So we all know I'm talking about my mother. On Mother's Day, I decide I'm going to ride up because we're doing a Mother's Day breakfast and it'll be fun. So I ride up from Linwood, Washington, up Whidbey Island to Oak Harbor. Hit a patch of gravel on a gosh dang right turn, slid across the road into the ditch. So I pull the bike out. Bike's fine. It's a little dinged up. I'm a little dinged up. My thumb was the only thing that was really screwed up. I think I sprained my thumb or something. I didn't go get medical attention because who does that? So I get to this stupid Mother's Day brunch situation, and like my legs, like my pants, I had like good thick Carhartt pants on. I had a solid riding jacket, but everything's like scuffed, right? And like I'm limping a little bit, like my hands being like a little bit. She's like, "Did you drop the bike?" I don't want to talk about it. So that was day 2 of riding.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah.
At least, take it 2 days, I guess.
Stupid malarkey gravel. You know what I see? You know what I say when I see gravel now? Hell yeah.
Speed power.
Go faster.
I like to go fast on gravel. Yeah,
you
dude.
know what I say when I see gravel on a turn? Fishtail. Adventure bike life.
Do you? Do you, though?
I do. I do now. I didn't then.
Yeah, you can kick that thing out and do yourself a little power slide coming around the corner.
Mhm.
Those are fun. Yeah, those are fun. How long did you have that bike?
Good question. 2018, 2017, couple of years.
Yeah, okay.
It was old. It was a Honda. It ran forever until it didn't. It just started dying. I don't know why. I never found out why. I tried to troubleshoot it. I took the whole carb apart and worked on it, put it back together. I did a whole like cleaning YouTube video thing. It ran just fine, same as it did before. I was like, all right, I fixed it. And then it would just die on the side of the road. And after I paid $160 to tow it, I said, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, we're done. Time to get
Yep.
something else.
So then I bought.
And what was that something else?
So I went down the cruiser road briefly. So I
Oh,
bought
man, it's okay, man.
I bought a 1200 Sportster with forward mount pegs.
Dang, dude.
And it had
You want to know
like,
something?
It had mini ape hangers, which for me just meant that my arms were straight out. It was the first time I ever fit on a motorcycle.
You know, Pancakes had a no, it wasn't a Sportster that he had with the forward pegs. I forget what it was. It was beautiful. It was a gray
It
bike.
was some kind of Harley though.
Yeah. Yep. It was definitely Harley. He was a big Harley guy.
So I did that for a while. I bought the chaps.
Do you still have them?
Oh, yeah. They're up in I think I might have donated them recently, actually.
Oh no, I was gonna say there better be a photo shoot.
I had the fucking chaps for a while. Like I was like, because the whole like running joke haha with Harleys is like dentists pretend to be badasses on the weekends, right? And so when I got a Harley, I was like, I get to be like a fucking cruiser badass. So I went and got I got chaps, I got a leather jacket. Like I went for it. I still did a full face helmet because it freaks me out. The idea of bashing my fucking chin and it just like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I wonder about
always a full face.
What happens when you? I wonder what happens when you have your chin explode. I don't know.
I don't want to find out. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I don't get. I don't get it. I don't want.
Yeah.
No, thank you. But otherwise, I was
you.
I was a cruiser badass for a while, and I used to go to
Did
Oyster
you have
Run.
patches?
I didn't do the patches thing. I just had like a leather jacket. I didn't have like a cool vest situation.
Right. Went to the Oyster Run once upon a time. Went down there. We parked over by my uncle's boat, and my dad and I changed and stuff. We wandered around Anacortes, and it was a little disturbing. It was like, for whatever reason, I don't know if this is a thing. It's the only time I've been there, but they had the Mongols walking around. And they had like a booth and everything, and I was just like, okay. And then it was almost they had these groups walking around that were like patrolling. It's kind of looking around, and I was just like, yeah, that's not for me.
It's kind of cool to do in like a weird way. It's cool to do the research about like current motorcycle gangs, or more specifically, like current motorcycle gangs in the Northwest. And then like you walk around and you see them. They're there, and you're like, oh shit, those are the fucking guys. Those are the guys. Like nobody really. I don't think really. I'm sure there are. There always fucking will be, I guess. But like Hell's Angels aren't. Are they? They're not still a thing, are they? Are they still a thing?
Oh yeah, dude.
Are they still a thing?
I've got a story about the Hell's Angels coming off Vancouver Island, man.
Oh my!
I got
goodness.
a video on it.
Of course, they're still a thing. But like, I don't know. I don't think motorcycle gangs on the West Coast are still as like intense as they were in like the 80s, right? Like,
they're still prevalent though.
I don't know. I think it's interesting to go to like the Oyster Run. So for anyone who doesn't know, if you have any like anybody in the West Coast will know, but maybe you have like Central or Eastern Washington or Canadian listeners who don't know, the Oyster Run is like the biggest motorcycle event in the Pacific the very greater Pacific Northwest. It is the Pacific Northwest's version of ADHD, I want to say Sturgis. It is.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Sturgis, but it's probably, I would say it's got to be at least like a quarter of the size, which is still really substantial. Like it's huge amount of motorcycles. It's a lot of fun. It's cool to just go show up for a little bit. Don't show up in the afternoon though. Pro tip, if you've never been to Oyster Run, get there early. Don't stay past like 1, because after 1, people start getting drunk. All of your stupid fucking sport bike bros start showing up. And listen, I'm not trying to fucking shit on anybody. Ride the bike that you like. But even in every category, there's bros. But I don't think anybody's going to argue with me that fucking crotch rocket bros are the worst bros. Just going down the main street, just fucking hitting their rev limiter to be obnoxious. Like, after 1 o'clock in Anacortes on the day of the oyster run, it's not fun. Everybody's getting loud. People start doing stupid stuff. Last year, I'm trying to think if Mighty V360 was with me. I think he was. We had to stop because there was some drunk chick who decided to get on her motorcycle and ride out of Anacortes, and she crashed her stupid motorcycle. And I was one of the first responders, so I had to provide first. She was fine. It's not like it was even a serious thing, but she was just like drunk and stupid, and then other drunk, stupid people were around us. So I'm sober, 100%, just showing up, trying to provide first aid. And I'm like, okay, well, like I've analyzed, she's fine. She's moving on her own. So I was like, okay, well, we're blocking traffic. If you're able, let's stand up and move. And some fucking other drunk bike guy's like, no, you fucking idiot. She could have a neck injury. I'm like, dude, she's moving on her own. We're blocking traffic. Let's get her out of the road so she doesn't get run over. Oh, I just starts talking about lawsuits and stuff and how it was some other car. I'm like, no, she's obviously drunk. Like, the point is, don't show up after 1 o'clock because it gets weird. I'm not here for the oyster run
around that crowd
post 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but before it is genuinely a lot of fun. I just think they need, I don't know, man, they need to control the alcohol there a little bit because it gets stupid after 1 o'clock.
Okay.
But the oyster run before that is awesome.
And that's just a one-day event, right?
It is, yeah.
It's just a Saturday.
Sunday? I think it's Sunday.
Is it a Sunday? Okay.
I think it's a Sunday. Whatever. Sunday, Saturday. Show up for the oyster run. It's really cool, but just don't stay all day because people get stupid.
So my next question is, I really want to kind of move down to, when you found adventure bikes, because it's going to lead me to your bromance with Corey. When did you guys meet and all that? So we really got to start digging in a little bit with that. Not what happens in tents when you guys are out camping all by your lonesomes and stuff. But, when did you start getting interested in the ADV world?
To talk about adventure bikes, we have to talk about the stupid 250L that I bought. And then sold.
Do we know anybody that drives or rides a 250L?
Yeah, Mighty V360 and Critter Moto.
Point is, Moto too.
I had one, guys. I had one. I bought one and then I sold it because I'm stupid. So I bought a 250L. I was talking. I don't even remember who told me about the dual sport world, and I was like, played at dirt bikes. Oh hell yeah! So I went and found. Check this out, guys. Check this out. Okay, it was 2018, because it was 2017. It was a 1-year-old bike. Found it 2017 and 2018. CRF 250L had 1,200 miles on it.
Okay.
Perfect condition. I bought this thing for $3,200. $3,200. I was commuting on it. It was really my only bike. So the Sportster at the time, the Sportster started having weird issues that I couldn't nail down. It was the worst because it's a Harley. So I really started riding the 250 like exclusively. Problem was it was a 250 and I was commuting from Linwood to Oak Harbor to my teacher job, and 65 miles an hour was a challenge. So I was talking to a friend of mine at work about said things. He had at the time an Africa Twin. He's like, dude, like you should really consider adventure bikes. It's basically a dual sport, but it's better. He's like, come on up, ride mine sometime?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not riding your motorcycle. Like, I'm always weird about riding other people's motorcycles. Like,
Yep.
I think I've gotten better about it now, but I used to be really like, what if something went wrong? So I went up to his place to have him help me install the bark busters, because I'd never done it before, and he's a real like off-road oriented guy. And I was like, I want to do it. I just want somebody that knows. So we're installing that, and he's fucking riding around his property on his Africa Twin, and this dude's like built, and he grew up off-roading. Like, he actually, oh my God, this guy bought a T7 and has put probably to date 700 miles on it. He bought it in 2019, whatever the first year was, 2020, whenever they first came out. Anyways,
I totally thought you were going the other way with that.
no,
I
he's
was
put
in
no
my mind.
miles
I was
on it.
automatically thinking like 100,000 plus.
He's very off-road oriented, and this is a dual sport. And he only bought the T7 because he thought it would be cool. I think he genuinely bought it to make me jealous. Like, I know that sounds like arrogant and full of myself, but he's very like, he needs the approval of other people. Anyways, the point is, he's riding around on his Africa Twin off-road, doing fucking jumps off-road and all this cool shit. And then he comes over and he's like, "You should test ride it." And I'm like, I don't want to ride your bike. I don't want to drop it. Blah, 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 blah. He's like, "Just do it. Just take it down the road." I took it down the road and I came back. I went the next weekend to Everett Power Sports, and I bought a 2019 used, had 400 miles on it, Honda Africa Twin, which is the one that I have today.
That's a good deal right there.
Dude, I got a
400
screaming
miles?
deal. I put $1,000, $1,200 down, and financed 10 out the door. They gave me a great deal on that bike. It had a big ass GV rear box. It had the Outback Motortech crash bars that it still has on it today. Center stand.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I think that was it. Everything
That's a
else
nice
I've
bike,
done
man.
to it. I
Mhm.
fucking love that bike. I was terrified of it for 2.5 years.
Why? I
Off-road.
think it was something about the weight.
Terrified off-road. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dude, it was the idea of, I mean, I still heavily respect it, but like, I'm not afraid to take it down sketchy 2-track now.
Your boy.
But it used to be, it's 500, dude, that's a 530-pound bike. Like, I was so in my head going from, hold on, before we get really into the Africa Twin. So I got the Africa Twin, and then I was never riding the 250. And this was before I really, really got into like moto camping and stuff. And I really like found the moto camping world and how you could like camp off the bike and load it up. And there was luggage and you could do all this stuff. I just was really riding the Africa Twin, and then I wasn't riding the 250. And then this is right as the 250 market started taking off. So I sold my 250 for like $5,400. I made so much money on that bike. It was so easy. I listed it for 48, and somebody offered me 52. And I was like, okay. And so I sold it. Biggest regret of my life.
Yeah, it's a nice bike, but would
didn't
you
know that,
keep
no.
riding it if you had the two?
Oh, 100%.
Because we
100%.
all get, like, I had 2 bikes for a while,
Two different
and
brands.
I had to get rid of one because same thing. You know, I had a Yamaha FJ09, and I was like, I'm going to keep 2 bikes. I got the adventure bike, and I got this one for fun. Dude, I never rode the other one.
FJ09. Yeah, so the Twin is a big adventure bike. A plated dual sport like the 250 is, I mean, that's your do stupid shit, go anywhere and never get stuck bike, which is what I want, which was affirmed by taking that Husky out 2 weeks ago, because that's the first, that Husky's the first real. So I took Mighty V360 recently got a 250L, and I took that up and down a Forest Service road, but I didn't really get to play on it. So that Husky's the first dual sport that I've really been on in years.
I think what we need to do, a lot of people are like, what are you talking about?
I know, ADHD's running wild.
No, let's take this opportunity because I think
Mm-hmm.
this is actually a really good point because you through your YouTube, right? How you've been on YouTube since what, 16? I think something like
No,
that is when you created the account.
21.
Is that what it is?
I
Okay.
think. I
I'll,
think so.
okay. Okay. Let's just say that. So
Now I have to look.
I know we're both like, hey, we're doing
Ask
some
your
recon right here.
questions.
Anyways, so you've been on there for a while. You got a lot of videos. I think
Mhm.
you got a really good channel on top of that.
Oh, thank you.
Um, no, I mean, that's how I found you. I can't
I have
remember. I found
95
you.
videos. Holy shit.
Yeah, buddy. I can't remember if
2020.
I found you first
June 3rd,
on. Okay, so
2020. Sorry.
2020. I can't remember if I found you first on the tubers or on the Instagrammers. So, anyways, um, you now are doing something a little bit unique, right? So you teamed up with, I believe, the same place you bought the twin from,
Yes.
and you're kind of doing some. I don't know if this is the right term. You're doing some self promoting while doing marketing for them through their channels. So you're cross pollinating.
We'll see.
Why don't you explain that?
So, what I thought, and we're gonna have a meeting to sit down and establish some more concrete things. What I thought was originally, okay. So I went to Ever Power Sports, and I've been pestering them for a while. And then they recently hired. Well, I don't know how deep I want to get into it because if they do find this, I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't get in
they
trouble.
they
Keep
hired a
it.
marketing person, and that didn't quite work out. I think he left voluntarily, but he was a little dodgy on like what he was doing. I I think for the positive for me was that they learned the value of somebody who wants to make. This guy he wanted to do it, but he didn't quite know how. So I came in at just the right time, I think. They finally were like, okay, let's do it. Like, so the only thing that I've done so far, but the one thing that we did, I got to take 2020. It was a used bike, a 2020 that they sell. Oh my God, my ADHD is through the roof. They are a Husqvarna dealer. So I got to take out a used so that I could put some miles on it. A used 2020 Husqvarna FE501S. Oh my God, I'm in love.
You nailed that.
Dude, I wait till you see the full ride video. Like, I need to get this thing finished. I've been getting a little bit distracted, not able to finish the full ride. I took it off into the woods. They were like, we want to see how it does on single track. And I think you can see in the preview is I said they wanted to see how it does on single track. How about no track? And I'm just in the bushes, just like, and it's just plowing through, just doing its thing. Like, I was going slow because it's a dealer bike. Like, there were a number of times where I had to throttle back what I wanted to do because I was on their bike. So I didn't get to really I just wanted to go, like, fucking fuck it, let's just go. But I don't want to fuck up their bike just in case. So I still only got to see like a quarter of what that bike's really capable of. But what I thought going into it was that, and we're gonna discuss and we're gonna clarify some things. I thought that I was gonna make my content and they were gonna link to it. But what it sounds like, which might even be better, is that I'm kind of stumbling into a situation, at least better financially for me maybe, is that I'm stumbling into a situation where they might want to take me on as their content creator and then grow their social media, YouTube channel and stuff with the stuff that I'm making.
So would you be
Inevitably,
able? I won't ask that because
no. Inevitably, I'm still what is always going to be like a clause in anything that I would walk into is I'm still going to make my own stuff for my channel. So like right now what I'm doing, because I think was that your question? Would I still be able to make stuff for me?
yeah, I mean, would it
Ask
be
the
able to
questions.
be
Fuck
like?
it. I don't care what they think. This is you and I.
Well, yeah,
And all
no,
our
I just don't
esteemed
want to get things
listeners.
a little ahead of here. But,
Yeah, I like it.
would it be something where, you're making the content for them and you can put their version of the up on their YouTube and then your version up
Yes.
on yours,
So
but you're using the same footage essentially.
regardless, however this first situation clarifies and pans out, what I am doing right now, so I'm building my version of that
Right.
test ride. And I'm
Which
making
I
sure to
think
include. Go ahead.
I think your version, from what I just saw in that video, you had your phone out, you can kind of see you had the
It's
script
going to be
going there,
better.
but I thought it was a good video. It kept engaged,
Oh, for the
or it
walk
kept me
around.
engaged. Yeah. And I thought it was a really good video, and I kind of saw what you were doing there. I thought it was really well edited, well put together, well scripted, a lot of content, information in there. I thought it was a good video, man.
Yeah, the only thing I would have done different, and for two reasons. One, the most prominent thing that I didn't realize was we're talking about, so that bike has a 37.4 inch seat height. It's massive. And if you watch the walk around video, dude, it looks so tiny. Like everything that I'm doing from this angle, standing up, right? So I made that bike look so small. In the future, what I will do, regardless of what they want, how it plays out, what I learned really quickly about if I'm going to be doing bike reviews, I need to have a stationary camera, and I need to be standing behind the bike so that people can see relative to my height, knowing that I'm 6'6", how big the bike is. Because I made it look like something just slightly bigger than a Grom. Like, it looks so small in that walk around video. But the number two situation there is if I'm going to be creating content for them, it needs to look a little bit more professional. I'm never going to go like, hello, hi, welcome to Everett Power Sports. That's not me. Like, guaranteed, if I'm going to be involved, I don't think people want that. People are bored with fucking the 2020 Husqvarna is a 501. They don't want that. That's not what we're looking for on YouTube. I want a real fucking person with a real fucking opinion given a real genuine review. Like that's what I'm looking for.
Well, I think that's why I like that video.
Yeah.
I think I like that video because it was you on there.
Thank you.
It was your style. It wasn't cookie cutter, and I think that's really important. I think that's what's going to draw people to it.
And if they want me to do it, that's what they're going to get. Even if I'm standing behind the bike, because that's what people want. At its core, I'm going to create, I'm only ever going to create exactly what I want to watch, for better or worse. But as the average, like when I'm looking for motorcycle reviews, I don't want, I feel bad saying this because I know he does really well. But one of the things that I don't, there is a very big motorcycle channel. And because we're in this community, I want to clarify, I'm not talking about Dork in the Road. I'm just going to say it. I don't give a fuck. Big Rock Moto. I love his stuff, but it feels so scripted. He is, for better or worse, the thing that I don't like about him is he's working so hard to fill a script. And a script, to me, indicates that you're not speaking, like, genuinely. As a public affairs person, as somebody who does, like, public speeches, I've always believed very strongly in bullet points over scripts. And for some people, you just need scripts because you can't mentally generate, and I get that. But in the YouTube world, like, I would much rather watch somebody who's maybe stumbling a little bit, but is delivering obviously like this is how they feel content, versus somebody who is nailing the verbal delivery, but like you're obviously reading.
Well, I think too, there are, like, we're talking about self-styles, right?
Yeah.
So you want to talk about Big Rock? That's just his style, So
And
I think
that's what I'm
maybe
saying,
he
like,
is a guy that's like,
yeah,
he wants to get all the his bullet points out, but it needs to be a little bit more.
Yes. And that's why I'm saying like
That way.
that's why I like hesitated, was like I don't want to shit on him, because I do
It's a great channel. I like it.
put him as like a benchmark of like if I want information, but he is definitely not one of my go-tos if I'm looking for reviews. I know I like hesitated with Ben and Dork in the Road, because I was like, oh, I want to be clarified. I'm not talking about. That's one of the things I like. That's what drew me to his channel initially, was like he just fucking says it. Like he is genuine in his reviews. Like you can tell, fucking positive or negative, he is expressing his opinions. And I think that's what it is I would rather watch somebody stumble because they're being honest than have a polished delivery, because a polished delivery, for me, in my own, this is 100% my own viewpoints. A polished delivery to me says like, you've thought way too much about this, which means there could be room for fabrication. So I always want to walk a middle ground there. I don't want to have 100% polished. I want to have a script. I have a script. I always have a script for stuff or bullet points, but I'm just going to deliver it in the way that I deliver things, because I don't want to be too official. And if they're like, well, I would rather have a polished voiceover, I'd be like, it's time for you guys to find somebody else. I would rather lose money to be honest than to be paid to not be honest. Fuck that shit. There's too much fucking jargon on
voiceovers
YouTube.
are so. Yeah, I've done voiceovers. I think we all do them, but
guys,
there's a time and a place for them, you know.
Wait till you see. I tried to show you, but I couldn't. Wait till you guys see this tube promo video. It's so over the top and so just delicious. It's one of the best voiceovers I've ever done, and I'm so proud of it.
Awesome.
And it's
I can't
so
wait
dramatic.
to see it. I love it.
If GoDaddy, Google, if Google would stop screwing up my website malarkey, it would already be out, but it's not. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, you know, merch store coming.
Oh my God, it's on its way. It's so close.
So you bring up Dork.
Google.
You bring up Dork. How did that ever come about?
What a dork, am I right?
Oh, what a dork. So how did that come about? Hey, Matt, you want to edit for me?
To walk through the entire Dork relationship. So I decided, so at its core, my YouTube channel has only ever been a visual record for me as somebody who has ADHD. And so most of my childhood, I don't remember. Like, I don't remember the fine details. Like, there's like certain defining moments, but I don't remember details of things. This is one thing that has always frustrated me through my whole life. So I got the Honda Africa Twin. I started understanding the concept of like big rides. And I didn't want to do those things and not remember the little details. So I got really into like watching like YouTube channels, and like there's this whole like ADV community that does moto vlogs, and I was like, I'm going to do that. If it gets big, that's cool. But I'm going to do it so that I don't lose these memories. And that's what started it. And then I started realizing like, oh, there's people that like get paid money for this. That's cool. It would be cool to have that as like an aspiration. And so for me, I've always kind of been, so I'm at a new middle ground than where I was. But at the time I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, what's the best way to do it so that if it does grow, it grows the best way possible? Dork was one of the people that I found early, so I emailed him. Hello, my name's Matthew, and I would like your advice. 41, probably not even, 1,000 subscribers at the time. He sent me an email back. He's like, I don't know why you're asking me, but he gave me some advice. Really fucking solid advice. So what I think where I really bonded with him, like before I knew him emotionally, where I was like, we're the same, is he was a high school English teacher. And then, we all know what happened. Took off. He was able to do it full time. Yay him. super dope. So I felt like, as somebody who was currently a high school teacher, his advice was relatable. So I emailed him. He sent me a good, genuinely solid, long email of information, which I have passed along to people to this day who have been like, oh, you do YouTube? Well, how do I do it? I don't know, because I still haven't made it. But this is what this guy said. So that's how we first, like, interacted. I'm pretty sure Giant Loop 22, 23, 24. So Giant Loop 22 is where I met him for the first time. Him, Travis, Explore Adventure Moto, used to be Beards, Bikes, and Camping, Critter Moto. That's where, like, the crew came together. I'd interacted online. That was the first time that I, like, interact with everybody in person. And so then, you know, we became best buddies, talked back and forth. I had actually pitched probably a year prior to get to the point of the question, because this is what happens when you talk to an ADHD person. I had pitched like a year prior, hey, Ben, I would love to edit for you. And he's like, dude, I've seen what you're doing. Can't afford you. Gonna be honest. Like, I was like, oh, well, thank you, but you could pay me less money and that'd be okay. So he went to Mexico. And I don't know if your viewer listenership has seen the promo that was put out for his trip to Mexico, but it looked oddly like Itchy Boots. Then he got the first real video. So we got a promo video of the whole trip. It was, as per my research, the intro song to a season, I don't remember which season, but one of the seasons of Itchy Boots. The intro song she used for every single episode that season was the same song that this overseas fiver, whatever he decided, however he hired this person that was in like Belgium, that's what they used. So everybody in the ADV community was like, oh shit, you got a new editor, yay. Then he got the first full episode. I don't know if he'd be angry if I told this, but I don't think he would, because it's what happened. And it was bad. It was bad. It was so bad. And like, this dude flew through like all the episodes in like 2 weeks of editing, but they were all so bad. Like, there's just raw engine, like the dude just like, and so he reached out to me and he was like, what if I paid you way less than you're worth? And I was like, I'll do it. Fuck it. I don't care. And so the Baja trip that Dork did was my first. And then I worked for him for a good, probably a solid year or so. And it was a lot easier when I was a high school teacher and I had like actual time off and I could do stuff. And then I started my new gig and I haven't been able to edit for him as much. So we've throttled back working together. But it was so much fun to like, it's hard to describe. Well, most all of your listenership is motorcycle people. It's weird listening to somebody else talk to themselves in their helmet and realize, oh, we all do the same weird bullshit. But like you know, like you're riding along and like you're fucking talking to yourself, and yes, you're trying to make like a motorcycle vlog, and there's times when you're talking to your viewership, and then there's times where you're just making a weird Sean Connery accent talking about friggin' rocks that are going by, and you quote something that's completely irrelevant and will probably get you fired on YouTube, and you're like, well, we can't use that. And you hear all of it from somebody else, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm normal. So I don't know, it was fun. It was fun. I love Ben. He's just such a fucking cool dude, and he's just a cool dude. And it was fun to edit for him for the good while that I was able to do it. And now I'm kind of trying to bring my own channel back because I fell off to the wayside for a while. And it's never going to be like $1 million fucking project, but it's fun. It's just a fun thing to do, and I want to prioritize it a little bit more. Maybe make it a slightly profitable side thing, but inevitably at its core, what I love the most about it, I know I'm really just running on and you're not asking questions, and I suddenly get weird about it because I'm like, I've been talking for a minute, but
You know what? This is actually really great. Yeah, I'm enjoying
good.
listening to this
Good.
story, and no, you're doing a great job at filling all the holes.
Oh, thank you. Oh, well,
But
that's what she said. What I did not
That's what Corey said.
expect, what I didn't, what I didn't expect, but I have loved more than anything else, and the reason that I really want to continue to like dive into it and do it, you know, ironically, what really sealed the deal for me on YouTube and my extrovert to the core situation was Corey. To really focus and fixate for a second. So anybody who doesn't know, maybe you're listening to this as like an external thing. So myself, Tallman Moto on YouTube, and my EDV360 / Smallman Moto, as the joke has started because we've become friends. So he's got this alter ego, Smallman Moto, but his name is Corey. So what is so weird to me still, and like you see me hesitating, and I shouldn't now, and being like stumbly weird. What's just so baffling to me is that he emailed me about going to Giant Loop and was like, "Oh, I'm going too." And anybody who really gets to know Corey knows he's like this weird introvert that doesn't like big crowds or new people. But he fucking emailed me and was like, "Dude, let's go down together." And I was like, "All right, cool." He's the first stranger on the internet that I ever met. And he and I have become such close friends. Uh-oh, I think it did it again. This stupid fucking camera's dying out. Am I moving?
No, you're not moving.
Yeah, well, here we are. Okay, I'm going to try and beat it to the punch. Anyways, he was the first person that like reached out, and I've had him do it. I've had Steve, who, if you watch my channel, you know Steve. Mike has reached out. Mike, Corey, and I are like a cool trio now, and we're like the three best friends that anyone could have. But we're
the three best friends
that anyone could have. Thank you. I'm glad you got that reference. What I really love at its core that I have developed, I just think it's the greatest fucking thing. It's so fucking great and cool to me is that random fucking people can be like, "Hey, I want to go camping too." And you can just create these new friendships and connections. And it's all because I'm making these stupid fucking videos. When we went to Giant Loop last year, 2023, it was me, Steve. Oh my God. I'm like aggressively trying to remember the sixth person's name. Corey, Mike, and Kirk, Captain Kirk. It was Kirk, but it was the five of us, five, six. It was the group of us. All of them had a Tallman Moto sticker on the front of their bike, and I had a moment while we were at a rest stop where I realized we were on our way to Giant Loop. We had a first night of camping, so we had this whole like group camp event. And we were almost to Giant Loop. And I had this just moment, this realization that like everybody might have gone to Giant Loop regardless. Like I'm not trying to be like, "I'm the one that caused us to go to Giant Loop." But in that moment, I realized like we have had this experience as a group all together for the last day and a half because I put a stupid fucking video out. And how fucking cool is it that I got to create and be a part of this unique experience by where we're going and how we're camping. And it just, I don't know. I love bringing people together and getting people to go new places. The dream.
I think that's super awesome.
Dude, I love it. I don't know. I think it's cool. I don't care if I ever make a single fucking dollar off of YouTube. I'm going to continue to do it because as long as I am making new friends and bringing people together and creating experiences, it's worth it. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's why I do
No,
YouTube.
I actually had that. I had that epiphany actually up at Get Lost. I think I thought about it a little bit like when Critter and I went down. We rode down the Giant Loop last year. We had a pretty rad route, and we had just a day. I mean, it took us. I mean, I can't remember. I think it took us 4 days to get down there the route we did, and we took the super duper long way over there, and
Was that 4 days from
tried to hit.
you?
Yeah. Well, so if we just went straight over to where Giant Loop is, right? 4 hours maybe.
Yeah.
On the highways. But, Oregon, we have the Oregon Trail and the Barlow Trail. So we rode a big section of the Barlow Trail. We went way down into East Oregon a little bit, and we looped back around into Central Oregon. We went
That's
way
right.
down into Nevada and looped around. I mean, if you're listening to this and you're curious and you don't know these videos, just YouTube channel. It's the
Motorcycles and
Giant Loop.
Pancakes.
That's right, motorcycles and pancakes. Like, subscribe, share, as this guy likes to say. But yeah, it's the Giant Loop Ride 2023 videos. I think there's like, I don't know, 5 of them in a series or something. I don't remember what it is. I think it's something like that. But it was a lot of fun to do that, and I had that moment, like Critter and I cruising, and then Papa Cakes came down day 2. But then even like, we were doing this deal ripping through this section of the island, and we took this road, and it ended up being like a dead end up this steep section. We came down, and we were like full rally mode to catch the rest of the group, because we were 6 riders. 3 of us went this way, 3 of us went that way, and
Oh,
the
okay,
roads were
yeah.
supposed to come back together, right? But this one that we took didn't, so we had to come back around, and it did not. So we were trying to catch everybody, and luckily they stopped at the quote unquote meeting place. And Zolio, that really came in. We were able to text ahead like, "Hey, this is what happened. We'll still meet you there." But man, just ripping through there and meeting some people like Owen Lush, and just people that you followed from like,
him.
yeah, dude, like from another part of the country of Canadian land up there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing. We're coming together because of our channels and being goofy and all that stuff. It's super red sauce.
Dude, I love it. It's just, oh man, it's the community, right? And like, it's been talked
100%.
about on a lot of different channels. I'm sure you have covered it in so many of these.
Yeah.
It's what starts at a shared interest, and it opens up the ability for fucking lifelong friendships. Like, it's just so cool that such a simple thing, riding motorcycles and camping together. Like,
Yeah.
like I can't think of anything I can't think of anything else in my life of a shared interest that would create such an instant like friendship of like I do like taking pictures and driving cars. Like, I'm not gonna bond with somebody because I like taking photos and driving a certain type of car. I'm
Right.
like, oh, dude, cool. All right, cool. All right, I'll talk to you probably never again. Dude, it happened today. I was standing out having a nicotine inhalant time because I don't like say vaping because that makes me sound like a bro, but I don't want to say smoking because I don't
All right,
smoke.
bro. Keep going.
So I'm standing out there having a time. This guy walks up and we're striking up a conversation. And he's like, "Oh, motorcycle something something," and I was like, "Oh, well, camping something something." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm new to the area. I'm trying to find places to camp." And I was like, "Do you have an iPhone?" Bam, here's my contact. We're best friends now. It just,
Yeah.
I fucking love it. But then I didn't pay attention to his name, and now he's lost my contact. So hopefully he reaches out to me. Otherwise, we'll never be friends because I don't remember his name.
That's right.
But
oh man, I'm bad with names sometimes too. But
dude, it's cool.
it's the actually ADV dual sport community. We say this all the time. It's remarkable. It's open. It's accepting. It's rad, and it feels like, at least for us over here on the west side of the North America, we
because
really
it's the
kind of,
best camping.
well,
Whatever
yeah.
you're gonna say, it's
I
because
think
it's
there's
the
a
best
core group
camping.
of us here. There's just a core group of friends, and we're just so accepting, and people from all over can just join us and let's go.
I was just
Super
about to
rad.
say, if somebody's listening and they have an adventure bike and they're like, I want to go camping and I want to get in on this situation, but they
Yeah, buddy.
don't want to go alone, tallmanmoto@gmail.com. I will put this invitation out 1.5 million times. Email me.
Yep.
I will take you moto camping. We can go to a shitty state park if you want to do pretend camping, or we can go out in like the wilderness. Listen, if you've never gone, I feel like this is a fluid transition. If you've never gone moto camping before, don't go disperse camping as your first time. Don't do that. Go do pretend camping at a state park and test all your gear. Make sure you're not missing anything. Make sure everything works. Test your air mattress if you've never really used it before, because when you're using it out in the weather of any kind, even the cooler summer nights,
My God.
it might fail. Oh, dude, buy a cot. 100%. Marchway,
Yeah.
$70 on Amazon. I'm selling everybody on cots. I sold the guy today on a cot.
Yeah, dude, cots are game changers. We were at, so I have this thing where I just wake up early. That is a curse of mine. It's like even on a day off, dude, I'm up at 5. I don't know, 5:30
That used
maybe.
to be me. That's me during the summer.
Dude, okay, so we were at Giant Loop. First time using the cot was there.
So
Dude, it was so comfortable that I actually, one night I put my earplugs in and I racked out. Completely racked out. I woke up and I looked up the top of my tent. It was daylight out, which
Did
is
you have-
weird.
Did you have an air mattress
Right.
on top of it?
Yes, I did.
Dude,
Oh
the
my
cot
gosh.
air mattress combination, I keep telling people, it is as comfortable 100% as sleeping on a pillow top mattress. 100%, it's as
100%.
comfortable as a bed. If you have a
Yeah.
3+ inch air mattress, even if your air mattress fails, you're still on a cot, so it's still way more comfortable than sleeping on the ground.
Right.
Cot Life, Marchway, $70 on Amazon. Go buy one.
Uh-huh.
I
Well,
love it.
2 things about that is, like I said, we were at Get Lost, Find Yourself, and when I woke up, I was like, "Oh, it's daylight out," and I popped my earplugs out. Everybody was moving. I was like,
Mhm.
"What time is it?" I looked at my watch. It was 8:30 in the morning.
I remember you
I was
crawling
like,
out of your tent late. Yeah,
Yeah. I was like, "You've got to be kidding." I felt great.
dude, it's
It was
great.
amazing. Dude, so Pancakes and I were out. I forget, we're at some like opal mine in Nevada, like northern Nevada, and we were doing a ride. We just came out of the Alvord, that day, and we went to this campground, and his air mattress went out in his tent, and he literally was sleeping on the rocks all night. And he was like, "Nope, screw this." And went and got the cots, because he's like, even if my air mattress goes out, I'm on the cot.
Yeah, you're
know?
you're still on a fabric based cot, so it's the cot on its own is not uncomfortable. Like it's not bad, but I'm telling you 100%, if you do an air mattress and a cot, it is the most luxurious ass camping experience. It is so.
And you're off the ground.
Oh my god.
It is
I
amazing.
I want to try it during, so ADHD, I just had like 3 conversations pop up. So if anybody has watched my lives, the most recent live as of this recording that I did is with a military buddy of mine who rides a cruiser. What the fuck is it? A Yamaha, Honda, whatever.
Yeah,
Some
it's a
sort
cruiser.
it's a
Jonathan
cruiser,
Snyder?
older, yeah, Snyder, yeah. Some older cruiser. Anyways, he moto camps off of this thing. He just messaged me that his Zubelieves, which is an Amazon brand, it's a 4-inch air mattress. It did just shit in the cold weather, which is a bummer, but it's $40, so it's not like it's terribly difficult to
Right.
believe that it turns out it sucks. The only thing that really sucks is that 40 times around, the hell is his name? We're friends on Facebook. He did a video for them running over it with his motorcycle, and it held. And that was my selling point. I was like, oh shit, well yeah. I've had one fail. I thought that it was my own fault. I bought a second one. It turns out they're not that great. The point is, don't skimp on your mattress.
No.
Don't think you can because you have a cot. I returned a $150 air mattress to REI. When I decided to do this cot thing, I was like, I'll just get a cheap air mattress. Nope, you still need a quality air mattress. So I got to reinvest in good, like Sea to Summit. I want to get their 6+ R value one. They have an extreme whatever. Because the point is what you said, lift it up to get back to the whole fucking point of this thing. ADHD, guys. That's why we're at 2 hours and 34 minutes, is because I have ADHD. You're lifted up on a cot and on an air mattress, so you need good insulation. So either get a cheap like egg crate that's insulated, or get a real good R value mattress, because there's air underneath you, which means you're going to be cooler than you would, but you'll be way more fucking comfortable.
That's actually a really good point to put out, is
thank you.
that air under you, depending on where you are and how deep into the wilderness you go, because there is a very finite line between the woods and the wilderness.
Yes.
And when you realize you're in the wilderness, you've been in it for a while and you're like, oh, I'm here now. We're a long ways away from anything.
Yes.
And sometimes in the wilderness, man, you go to sleep. Man, it was 85 degrees today, but I tell you what, man, you're waking up, it's 30.
Yes.
You know,
100%.
It's 29. That flow underneath the cot, man, that's
you
a
notice
huge difference of being sleeping great and sleeping good and being cold.
Dude.
You know,
God life.
So yeah, man. So we're gonna take the ADHD and we're gonna kind of move along a little bit, because I'm really interested to find out. Moving on, really interested to find out how you became an instructor. And this is kind of funny. It seems to be like my deal, because you're actually the third moto instructor that has been on this podcast. We've had Patrick on, who's kind of the head guy of media and one of the head instructors for Team Oregon that's been on. We've had Cooper Brooks. Yeah, and he's been he's a lawyer that was on, I can't remember what episode, but he was on, had a lot of really good things to say, but he was also a motorcycle instructor. So now we have TMMI.
So I'm licensed through the state of Washington, certified to practice, teach, whatever the fucking phrase is, through WMST, Washington Motorcycle Safety Training, I think is what it stands for. I don't know, WMST. They're based out of Everett, Washington. So I, if we haven't clarified in my career, I love to teach. When I was in the Navy, I used to do photo classes on the boat for just anybody who wanted to show up in the chapel. Like I had the bug for teaching young. 18, 19, I was already like, I want to teach people. I just want to light fires. Like that's my deal. When I'm camping, I'm actually really good at actually lighting fires. And when I'm not camping, I like lighting the fires of passion. It's the stupidest thing. That was so deep. So deep.
That is deep, and we just got another t-shirt.
So I've wanted to do it for a while. And then back in July of last year, I emailed WMSD, so that's who I got my endorsement through. So, I'm drawn to where I come from. Emailed them, and I was like, I'm thinking about doing this, like, what's involved? And Mike Meyer, the guy who runs, like, the training side of it and is responsible for all the instructors, was like, here's a schedule, we start in 2 weeks. And I was like, fuck, okay, I guess. And so I went through it back in the late summer of last year in 23, and I got most of the way through it, but I was also job hunting, and like I was going through a real fucking stressful period of not knowing what was next in life. And I was like, dude, I'm almost done, but like I gotta peel off. I can't finish this right now. I can't commit to stuff. I don't know what's next. So fast forward to 2 months ago, I emailed him and I'm like, everything's leveled out. Summer's coming up. Spring's coming up. I want to get back into this. I want to finish it. I want to do it. And so literally turns out all I had left to do was to show up to one full day course to go through all of the range stuff. And I was certified. Like that was it. And I was like, oh shit, well, fuck. Doesn't it figure? So I did that and now did the whatever through the state. And that's it. I'm certified. I'm ready to go. Like I need to get my first official class fucking set up where I'm teaching, but I'm certified through the state of Washington to be a motorcycle safety instructor, and I'm going to be the one that gets to walk people through what a motorcycle is, how to ride it, all the basics. I'm so excited about it. Like, it's just another thing where I get to fucking stoke that fire and help people understand the basics of the coolest thing they'll ever do in their whole life. Like, neat.
I agree with that. I think that is super fantastic that that's something you're doing and you're passionate about. And so a little more curiosity. I mean, so you went through and you got all your certs, right? And you're waiting on your class. So are you now like, and here's your students and go? Or are you kind of an apprentice for a few of these classes, secondhand, kind of learning the verbiage and how they want you to say things and, kind of the lingo, if you will?
So Mike and I have had conversations, and having so much experience in teaching has been extremely helpful in the confidence that I have had going through the process. So part of the process is so there was a point where we showed up and you're not getting paid for any of it, which I loved and I hated at the time, but also I think it's good to you want to find people who aren't just there for the money, right? Like, and they talk about that at one point, but you really have to go through this process 100% free. It's not like they hire you. So I'm a contractor, 1099 contractor for WMST. But the certification process, you don't get paid for. Like, you're not getting paid for your time, which I think is good because it eliminates people who are like, well, I just want to collect, however much money. And it's fucking good pay. Like, it's not, if you're looking for a side hustle, guys, for something you're passionate about, it's a way to do it. But like going through that process, you hit a point where you are teaching classes uncertified. And there are instructors there who are certified to like oversee the process, and they step in if somebody screws up and be like, well, just to clarify. But having the experience teaching, like I'm standing next to somebody who's trying to teach as a friggin' tax accountant who has never stood in front of a group of people and taught in their life. So I was able to build a lot of confidence quickly, I think, by having the experience of teaching. And now you're taking another thing that I'm incredibly passionate about. And for me, it was very simple to plug and play. Like, all right, I'm teaching the basics of clutch control or how to brake in a corner or the stuff that is it's the basics, right? It's a permit class.
Mm-hmm.
But having the experience teaching and knowing how, it's one thing to do something, and it is 100% a whole different process to be able to explain and teach how to do that thing. And I've had a lot of experience in teaching and being able to translate that both to youth and adults. So for a very brief period of time, there is going to be a period where like I have to do, so there's C1 and C2. C1 teaches, C2 does all of the instructions, occasionally teaches, and sets up the range. So I've got to go through that process. But I think what's exciting is Mike and I have had conversations. It's like, I don't think it's going to be very long at all before you're able to run classes 100% on your own with no C2. Like you're doing the demos, you're explaining the content, you're setting up the range, like you're doing everything on your own. And I'm here for it. Like I don't know. I'm just, dude, I get a fucking
That's rad.
Then
So
I
when
got
somebody
people
comes
into
down,
motorcycling. How cool is that?
yeah, dude, that's awesome. When
Here's how to
somebody
ride a
gets
bike.
done
Don't be a bro.
with that
Stop splitting
class,
lanes.
okay.
No lane
When
splitting.
somebody gets done with that class, do they get a certification to take it to whatever? Like we have the DMV, you take it down there and you get your endorsement, or do they? How does Washington work with that? Because
So the
here
state
with
of
Team Oregon, if you want to get your motorcycle endorsement, you have to take the Team Oregon class, and you take the cert. They at the end of the class they give you here's a piece of paper, take it down, and there's your
to the
endorsement.
DMV, and then you have your endorsement. Yes. However,
Yeah.
the state of Washington has decided recently to create a permit and an endorsement. I don't know why they did this. I don't know what the logic behind it was. The only difference between a permit and an endorsement is that you can't ride at night and you can't ride with a passenger. The passenger I can get on board with. It's a different amount of weight. It's a different way of riding. It's a whole different process. If you've never ridden with a passenger, I don't think you can really genuinely have an opinion until you understand what that weight difference feels like and how the bike handles. I can get behind the concept that you shouldn't have a passenger right off the bat as a new rider because they are two totally different ways of riding. Same as riding in the rain, etc., etc. There are different ways to ride. I do think it's really stupid that they have a permit and an endorsement.
Yeah.
I
Especially
don't know.
the night
Go
riding,
for it.
because you're saying like technically I can do all my riding with the permit, because 90,
Yeah.
not all the time, maybe 85, 90% of the time, it's during the day, and I don't ride two up at all. I don't want that responsibility. The two up position is
It's
my trauma
taxing.
bag and my tools.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that. If I get into
It's
an emergency situation, I want to do what I need to do. I don't want to have to
it's
worry about somebody hugging me and
yep. It's
leaning the
very
wrong
stressful
way.
having a passenger.
Yeah. No, thank you at all. Well, I think that's pretty cool that you're doing that, and it's
Yeah, I'm super excited about it.
something that's you're passionate about. I think being a teacher and being somebody who can take their knowledge and move it to somebody who's learning, in those roles, whatever it is, whether it's motorcycles or video editing or hockey, whatever,
Yeah, hockey.
learning that new skill, right?
I would
So,
the long term, hopefully not too long term goal. I would really like to create some version of like a Tallman Moto Explorers fucking business where I'm offering like very very basic ADV off-road skills training, and I would love
mhm.
to offer like a tour service because I mean I don't know, whatever. I love how the worst part about ADHD is I say something and then it's half a second before I hear all of the negative comments about, oh, this is what that's here's the things people would say. Yes, I would be willing to do that for free, but I would much rather also get paid to do that than to work a shitty 9 to 5 job. I would love to have a business where like somebody's
Your
like,
business is writing.
well, yeah, somebody's like, I bought adventure bike camping stuff, but I don't want to go out alone, but I want to go do real camping. I would love to do fucking tours where it's like 3 to 5 riders and we go out into the fucking wilderness of Washington and I take you on your first ADV camping trip. Something goes wrong, I've got a plan in place to get your bike towed. I've got, whatever. It would just be fucking super dope
Yeah,
to
man.
have like a tour service for first time or new to the area moto campers.
I agree with that.
That'd be
That
fucking
would
dope.
be something pretty rad.
That is my
So
dream.
I think it's a good dream to have there, kid.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
tell
thanks, buddy.
me, what moving forward with speaking of ADHD, so I'm trying to figure a way to kind of word this correctly, but one of the big positive things that I think a lot of people get out of motorcycle riding that they don't know when they start, and I don't know when you realize it. I realized it a really long time ago, but it was hard to take it and compress it,
Mm-hmm.
was the wind therapy, the actual wind therapy. The the way that you can get on your bike and you can lose the depression, the anxiety, the worry. I mean, you can lose all of that through there, you know?
Let's
So,
hit pause one more time. Let me go pee, and then I want to dive into this.
all
Because,
right.
yes, this is a topic worth talking about.
Okay. And we're
Oh,
going to pause right
and
now.
mental shit.
Okay. So, we're back from key break number 3. We have definitely,
Was that
set a
3?
record with that was definitely P breaks, and then we had the technical issues. So
Oh, okay.
the
It's
beauty of
probably
doing
pee break
these
number 2.
things, remotely. So
Yeah.
it's all good, man. Okay, so anyways, we were talking about kind of just the real wind therapy, and I know that a lot of people are probably sick and tired of hearing kind of the spiel, but I think Critter set the tone for the ADV community. He
Yeah.
found it from somebody else, and I know this is talked about, but for me, he's the one that like solidified and started all of the talk about men's mental health,
I think he is.
I guess suicide awareness and everything, which he encouraged me for a long time from when I first brought it up, probably a year of encouraging me, and then I finally felt it was the right time. Kind of came up with my own little idea of how to shoot it and stuff. So I put my video out, the inner
I
monologue.
liked. I liked yours a lot.
Thank you.
Just for
And
what it's
and,
worth.
and
I
I,
liked his a lot too. Don't get me wrong. I know I didn't put this on
yeah,
earlier. I'm going to put it on now because I'm already getting uncomfortable talking about this stuff. But I also really do want to talk about it, and it's on your thing, so it just feels safer to talk about it on yours than my own because I'm not ready. But yes, let's fucking
ooh, look at that,
dude. Let's get into it.
fancy.
Yeah. Hold
Yeah.
on. Let me
So
like and subscribe.
like and subscribe.
Fuck,
Yeah, it's pretty
let's
fancy.
talk
So
about fucking.
when I
Say what
hit
it is.
the publish on that, I was again, I just wasn't ready for the backlash, and it wasn't a negative backlash. It was like I said, I got 2 phone calls from grown adults, grown men crying. The text messages, the DM messages, the video messages. It was so overwhelming for me for that day when I put it out that at some point I hit my emotional capacity, in the evening, and I think a lot of people didn't know what was going on. I went on to the Instagrams and I just did a quick story like this video I put out, and the feedback from it's been deep, and I need to shut my phone off, not because I'm trying to be, I did that not to be an ass. I did
No,
that
you
because
just.
I hit an
It's just.
emotional wall that day. I needed to
It's.
decompress,
It's
and I
almost
left it off for like
overwhelming
a while.
the level of
Yeah,
support you get when you say, "I'm also not okay. I'm not okay, and it's okay to not be
right.
okay."
100%.
And so,
100%.
and I'm. This is part of why I'm like, okay. Are we diving in? We're diving in, right? Okay. Here's
Look,
here's
you
you
do what you feel comfortable with.
no, it's okay. It's your thing and not
Okay.
my thing, which somehow makes it feel. Here's the thing is, and I'm not. I'm not in any possible fucking capacity or way trying to negatively state anything about anything anyone has said, because what everybody has said has been so amazing with you, with Chris, with everybody who has put these videos out. I think what is the most fucked up about the military environment is where you will find, not probably, where you will find the highest suicide rate is among veterans. For us as a community to say for a long time, I'm not okay. There was, I think what's the most fucked up is that it's not like you say to your buddy, I'm fucking struggling. It's not like your buddy is going to be like, well, don't be a fucking pussy. Sorry for everybody, but that's the way the military works. Like, I'm not trying to, I don't want to offend anybody.
This is
It
a big boy
so
topic.
much harder
big
for
boy words are
somebody.
fine.
Yeah, it is so much harder for somebody who has been in a military environment to admit, yeah, I had a moment where I drank too much and I laid in bed and I pulled my fucking handgun out and I wondered if tomorrow was going to show up because I laid there and I was like weighing everything. It just, fuck. I haven't properly organized these thoughts, I think, which is part of why I'm like, I want to put my own shit out, but you guys have done something that is so much more socially acceptable. It's changing, and that's why I think that's part of why I get so hesitant. Is like it's not becoming that anymore, and it's just hard to get over that mindset of like, in the military community, it is so much harder. It has been so much harder for so long to be able to say, yeah, shit fucking sucks and I'm sad. Like, you are just so conditioned through the way the military works. Like, it's funny because I was having this very conversation with a guy who was he's a chief who's been in for 24 years, which is 6 years longer than I would have been in. So he joined 6 years before me. We were talking about the way the military is now because I work in the Navy environment now, and we were just talking about like how soft the military has gotten, which in a lot of ways that's a whole separate conversation. But one of the good things that has come out of the evolution of the military is to be able to say so much earlier before you have a serious fucking problem is like, I'm not okay. Like I'm fucking sad, bro. Like, it just, it's interesting. It's interesting the way that society is evolving, and it is such a positive for people to be able to say and have a community to speak to that will rally behind and support and remind you it's okay. It's okay to not be okay, because a lot of us are not okay. And I think it might have been today or yesterday on my drive home, I was having this kind of like conversation with myself. And it was a realization that I think like there's this like rise in anxiety in humans in general. And like a lot of people are like trying to get diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety and this and that. And it kind of led me to this thought process of like everybody's talking about like getting diagnosed with anxiety and this and that. And then I was like, dude, like being a human creates anxiety, like life in general. I think there's this rise because it's not because people are like trying to jump on a social bandwagon. It's because some version that is positive of social media has caused people to be like, I fucking laid in bed all day crying and everything sucks and the world sucks and I've got anxiety. And then somebody watches that and they're like, yeah, I fucking experienced that too. And it's like just the human condition. And we were kind of talking about like America in general and everything that's wrong. But like we as a society have created like such a fucking tough place to live. No wonder anxiety is so much higher and things are so much more terrible. It's okay to talk about and to be like, hey, also dealing with the bullshit. I don't know. I dove down a rabbit hole, and I was
No, you
almost
didn't.
talking to myself. Then I'm like, the podcast camera. Hello. Hey, guys. Shit sucks sometimes. Talk to somebody about it.
Well,
Dude, it helps so much.
it does, and I think sometimes that people don't know how to take that first step because
Dipped my toe.
I think it's taking the first step is so difficult because
It is.
I think we're conditioned, whether it's military or just men in general, we're conditioned for being the strong, the alpha, the leader, there's so much that's put on us as men growing up.
Yeah.
And it starts because there's nothing worse than like a teenage, like even like junior high aged boy. Those are the meanest people you'll ever meet, right? It's just that. Granted, there a lot of them are nice, right? Backpedal a little bit, but I think for the most part, I mean, little dudes can just be in a pack. That's bad. And then that's where we learn the don't be a wuss, suck it up.
Mhm.
That's where we start figuring that out, And then I
Sports.
think a generation of parents even before that, they were told a lot of the same stuff, and then they don't know how to have those conversations, so it
Shout out
turns
to my
right back
father.
around. Yeah, so
In not
it
a
turns
positive
back
way.
around. Right, I got that, but
Mm.
it turns it back around, and it just perpetuates this constant wheel of I just call it the proverbial man card, right? So taking that first step of just, hey man, I've got an issue. I need to talk to somebody about it. And, I don't know how deep you want to get into, but I know that you have like what, two dudes you chit chat with occasionally or whatever, and I got that as
I,
well. And I mean, it when I feel something shitty coming up, I now have tools to work with it, but I also have um, people that I know that I can just go to right now, talk about it. We can relate. I can see if I'm putting things out of perspective. But I think you have all this already, our emotions and everything. But if you go back to our conversation about the United States and how we work and how hard we work and we take, making money and the inflation costs, buying a home, renting a home, whatever it is, how expensive that's getting and it's continuously being raised and raised
yeah,
and raised and raised. Well, you add that card on top of everything else, man, and those dominoes fall. It's a huge, huge avalanche at times.
yeah.
So you got to just, I don't know, man. You got to have that out there. Like people are like, oh, you go to therapy, man, you're weak.
No, fuck that. Therapy is the best
Nobody's
shit that
weak.
I ever fucking went through. I
Yeah.
am so genuinely frustrated. So I changed jobs. We talked about that. So before at the tail end of my teaching era, I started doing therapy. Therapy is the best fucking shit that ever happened. And at first you're gonna go and you're gonna be like, dude, what the fuck? Like you're supposed to change my life. And you're just listening to the shit that I have to say. But then like a session, 2 sessions in, you're like, oh, I'm suddenly aware of like, for me to we can get fucking personal. I don't give a shit. For me, one of the biggest things. So for a long time when I left the military, I was never boots on ground. I dealt with my own fucking share of dead people. We had a plane go down. We had to pull bodies out. I had to take photos of it. I used to fucking fly over places that we take photos of, and then we'd fly over again, and there would just be holes in the ground. Like I dealt with my own fucking level of death, right? And when you go through the military and you're like, okay, that's just the way it is. It doesn't matter. And then you leave, and the general environment of the military in general, I don't want to be fucking old cranky, but I will say that when I went through, the environment that I was in was just go, stress all the time, nonstop, 18 hours a day, fucking always, 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 always on. And that's fucking stressful. It's fucking stressful. What I don't think I learned until way too much later in life, until I finally was like, oh, this is why. There's a reason the word fucking stress is in post-traumatic stress disorder. And I think a lot of people in the military who didn't like, funny because I had bullets shot at me who wasn't a helicopter, but people who weren't like shot at and in combat and shooting people and actively killing people think like I wasn't boots on ground. I'm not dealing with PTSD. Like I wasn't in the Army and the Marines like there. If you're in the Air Force and the Hilton, now's not the time for jokes. I'm trying to defer with humor. PTSD is a very fucking real, far-reaching thing. Like if you have dealt with shit and something falls over on the desk and you fucking fly through the roof with rage because you knock something over while looking for something and you can't find it, and it's just like this sudden fucking rage fest, which is what I was going through for a very long time. Like I had a very long period of like I would be looking for a fucking memory card and I couldn't find that memory card, and I'm fucking searching and I'm looking for this, and then I would go to fucking like move something and something would fall over and I would fly through the roof, and then it would stress my stupid cat out. My cat's fucking running around meowing because she's stressed out, and then that noise would cause me to fucking escalate further, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, and now suddenly I'm like through the fucking roof with anger, and then I would find the memory card and it would just shut off. And I was like, well, that's just how I am. I have a short fuse. No. Turns out I had fucking PTSD, and I didn't want to fucking deal with it because I didn't fucking know. And go to fucking therapy, because therapy walks you through this shit. And then not only did I realize, like, oh, it turns out I've had fucking PTSD for 10 years undiagnosed, and I've just been fucking borderline punching holes in the wall for no reason. But also, like, I have hit a point, and this is why I want to go back, is I hit a point 6 months in of, well, not 6 months, but like 2-3 months in of doing this and talking to somebody, where I was looking for something and I couldn't find it, and I started, and for people who haven't know, when you start, you know, but you don't recognize it until you're like up here. I recognized it here, and I would stop, and I'd be like, I will do this. I will do exactly this now. I will start talking to myself, and I'll be like, all right, we're looking for this. This is what happens, people, in case you're like thinking I'm being dramatic. No, literally exactly this happens. I start talking to myself, and I'm like, we're looking for this. It's not a big deal. We're not going to fly through the roof. We're just looking for the memory card. We're not going to go crazy. We recognize that we're escalating. We're not going to, and I will like talk myself off of that, like, and it's because I started going to therapy and I was able to start recognizing like what was causing me to fucking lose my shit for no reason. When the cats start fucking meowing for no reason over and over because they want attention, and I'm like stressed out about something, and that repetitive high-pitched noise just fucking burrows in my ear, I can be like, stop, don't do that. Like, dude, therapy's fucking dope. Everybody should do it. And I don't understand why we're still like, therapy's fucking for dumb bitches. Like, bro, whatever. Like, bro, where's the fucking TikTok that makes therapy cool? Because we need that. Because that shit made my life so much less stressful. I mean, I still have moments where I want to fucking punch holes in the wall, but it's better than it used to be. Shout out to therapy. Doctor, whatever the fuck your old name was.
That's a weird name.
Like talking to grandma.
But
she was great. I want to go back.
Well, like you just said, you were able to put tools in your toolbox to recognize the situation. Yes. And I think that is such a massive part to be able, because that downward spiral happens so fast. You don't really realize it's happening until you're down at the bottom and you're like, What? How did I get here again?
It's funny that you call it
So
a
dumb.
downward spiral because I just think it is fucking. I think of it as spiraling up, like just upward. It is downward because it's a negative thing. It's just.
Well,
It's
I,
funny the
I
way
think
that
it's
like
different. I think it's different because you
it's into the negative.
you take those feelings up to like an anger, right? Like, oh,
Oh,
I just want to punch holes.
two
Mine goes,
two different situations. Yeah, no,
yeah,
because
mine
yes,
goes
100%.
down to depression and like
Yes,
I'm not good enough for here.
those are
Nobody,
different.
the woe is me kind of thing. Yeah, and
Those are the
that's where I
situations.
go.
Though, yes, no, 100%, 100%. Because
Okay.
when depression sets in and I wake up and like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like the stupidest thing that will set me off, but like
Losing the
just
memory card.
something fucking small. No, not finding a memory card is something where I'm like looking for something and I'm fixating. But
Right.
like I here's a great example to tie it all together. I look at the weather, and this is fucking genuine, and this has happened a number of times. I'll look at the weather, and the weather's like, oh, partly cloudy. And I'm like, all right, dope. I'm riding in tomorrow. I will wake up at 4:30 in the morning, promptly, because normally I say I wake up at 4:30, but I'll push it to like 5 because I'm driving in. 4:30, I need that 20 minutes to get all the gear on to be able to ride my motorcycle into work. I wake up, I look at the weather report. Weather report says raining. Now I have an hour and a half commute, so I don't like to commute in the rain. I will, but I don't like to. But that'll fuck me up. That's it. That's what sets me off. So now I'm annoyed, disappointed that I can't ride the bike to work. So now I'm like down here. So then I'm driving into work and somebody cuts me off, and I immediately drop to like down here. And now I'm just like starting to fixate on all the negative things. And that's where it sets in. And then I hit those lows. I know what you're talking about. There will be days where I'll just wake up and I'm like, fuck the world. Everything sucks. I'm going to fucking kill myself probably. But those don't happen as much anymore, which I think is good. But there will be days where just like little things will happen and it will fucking kick me into a low for like 2-3 days. I check my bank account and I'm like, oh, I didn't account because I have ADHD for that fucking one basic bill that comes out, and now I can't afford to fucking buy lunch until payday. And then I just fucking fixate on how everything's so expensive and I'm never going to get out of my apartment and everything sucks and fucking all. And then I'm just in a low for like 2 days. Now, I know what you're talking about. I see why you went with low. Kudos to you for not having to deal with the rage, but fuck depression because, yes, it's equally as fucking terrible.
Well, I tell you what, man, I've had some rages
literally opposite
for
direction.
sure. Now,
dude, they're all just terrible. It's all the point is, guys, go to fucking therapy because it helps. It helps you recognize when shit is happening before you end up. When you're like, okay, so I'm gonna put it up here because it's just I know it's not here because here is half, but let's just say up here. You're here, and then low is here. Okay, you get to here with therapy, and you're like, oh shit, and then you go like this, and it's not that low. It's opposite, so it's really hard. Yeah, it's hard to do finger things, guys. The point is, you get a lot fucking lower before you even realize you're at the low. And then you start doing therapy and you just talk about shit. It's just talking. It's just verbalizing shit that you can't. If you can't afford therapy, if you like are anti-therapy, I don't need no fucking therapy. Get a friend. Get a friend that you can genuinely talk to. Because that's what it feels like. When you go to therapy, it feels, well, like I said, I went to a therapist. It was like fucking 65 years old. So it felt like talking to my grandma, even though my grandma's a bitch. But it felt like talking to a grandma I never had. It just, dude, you're just vocalizing your frustrations helps you realize your frustrations.
Yeah.
Right?
Well
Is that an
said.
accurate summary?
Well said.
I
think so.
if you don't
Dude,
want to
I
go to
think we should do
therapy,
it.
find a fucking bro to talk to, and not like a guy that you go out and drink with, but you don't want to know his first name. And the military
No.
community knows what the fuck I mean. Find somebody
It's
that you address by their first name, military community.
right. I think it's important to have those friends. You know, there's a few people I
It
can
really
call,
is.
and it's those people. I forget who said it and what it said, but you know, there's a lot of like 9 o'clockers, like don't call me after 9. But then there's a lot of those friends, a few of those friends that you have that you can call at 3 and they'll answer the phone. Those are the people you need to
Yes.
cherish in your life and make sure that you can chit chat and cultivate something with them.
Call me
You
a
know.
few times at 3 a.m. because I'm a heavy sleeper.
Yeah.
But I love you all, and I will fucking pick up the phone.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. I appreciate the honesty, you know, of you kind of talking about that kind of stuff because, you know, I talk about it from the civilian side. You could talk about it from more the military side, and I think it's
Whatever.
a very nice
Depression,
happy medium,
suppression.
right? But we can't end it on such a down topic. So, kind of one of the things that I ask everybody, kind of towards the end, right?
That was good. I'm glad you. I had a really shitty dark joke. Keep going.
Okay.
Just
So one of the
deferring,
things that I
going hard into
that I
the
like to
furrow
ask
here.
everybody. So Matt told
Waffles. Oh shit. I mean pancakes.
and we're done.
French
Anyway.
toast. All right, and that's our time.
Yeah, no, but one of the things I like to ask everybody if
Yes,
time wasn't an issue and money wasn't an issue, what is your dream motorcycle trip? Anywhere in the world.
Oh, dude, I would go to Scotland or Ireland for sure.
Yeah. And why is that?
From everything I've heard, like the like misty, moody weather, I think would just be so. I love so. One of my favorite things is riding in the rain. I don't like to do it so much now because I'm lazy, which I have my own internal struggle with. But I genuinely think one of the most visceral, honest ways to enjoy what is the experience of riding on a motorcycle is to ride in shitty weather and in the rain. And that's because, yes, the blue skies are beautiful and it's warm, but for specifically Western Washington locals, one of my favorite things, outside of what I'm talking about right now, but one of my favorite things is to roll through the Arlington area. Because the Arlington area smells like fucking cow shit so bad all the time. Like, it's just pungent. And when you're on the bike, you can't escape it. You can roll the windows up in a car, but you can't escape it. Now, to broaden that out, riding in subpar weather means you are experiencing everything around you. Maybe it's a little bit cold, you're a little bit chilly, maybe you got to turn those fucking heated grips on, maybe you got to fucking throw an extra layer on. You have to experience. You are, not you have to, you are experiencing the ride, the world around you. And for me, like I'm comfortable riding in the rain. I don't like to commute in it because it's just so fucking long. But like on a Saturday, I'll still happily fucking go out and ride if I can, if it's a little bit rainy out, because it's experiencing the world at its core in a slightly less than comfortable way. But I think that makes it better because fucking, like, what are the highs without the lows? And sometimes the lows are not so bad. Like, okay, it's raining now, but like, I like riding in the rain. Now I say all that to say Ireland and Scotland are like so well known for like their fog and their slightly raining conditions and for like not beautiful, perfect weather, but they're also known for like windy ass roads and beautiful landscapes. And also, I have this weird goal of walking into like an Irish or a Scottish pub and challenging a local to drink them under the table. Because I really think I could hold my own. It is genuinely a bucket list item. He said on beer 6, still speaking mostly fluidly.
Still
so
fluidly
Ireland, Scotland.
speaking fluid.
I'd love to do that. Where did I hear about it? I just heard recently, is it the TAT? The TAT's the Washington Transatlantic Trail, right?
No, the Trans-America Trail?
Oh, is it Trans-America? I thought it was Transatlantic Trail. Yeah, whatever. There's a Canadian version, and it's
the TCAT.
9,500 fucking miles one way.
Yeah, apparently there's a lot of places on there that, yeah, dude. There's a lot of places on that where you actually have to call the fuel station like 2 or 3 days ahead just to make sure they're going to be there. Yeah, and they have fuel. Yeah.
Who the heck?
That is wild. Needs to be supported in some way. It probably Critter on his last live.
Critter's Live. It was Critter's last live that we were talking about that. Yeah. Yeah, I 100% I would do that if time and money wasn't an issue. Oh,
you should Google the Trans-America one. That one's pretty neat too.
That one's neat. But that Canada one's like twice the size.
Well, yeah, because there's parts of Canada that are wider than continental United States.
The wilderness. Yeah, dude, I'm here for all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we just
I want to do Alaska.
Yeah, dude.
Alaska's on there, but that's not a time or money thing because I just that's
feasible.
Reasonable planning. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I feel that too.
I guess the real answer is if time and money wasn't an issue, then I would just fucking literally tour the world like stupid Itchy Boots is doing.
Mm-hmm.
On a motorcycle. I'd be Ewan McGregor, but non-stop and not on a stupid electric bike going through South America. I still don't think that was real. I just don't. I loved long way down, long way up, long way around, whatever it was. And then they were like, let's do electric Harleys through South America and only charge it. It's not fucking realistic. I don't believe that's real.
No, I'm going to agree with you on that one there, kid.
I'm just mad
sure.
About it.
I'm just mad about it. Well, dude, with that, I think it's probably a good place to kick this over. I got 321 and change.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Well, we had a couple pee breaks and technical issues and some great conversation, man. So I appreciate you coming on.
Time, though. It's not even pee breaks included. It's just so much conversation.
That's right.
Hey, everybody who's listening, watching 3 hours and 21 minutes and 35 seconds in, if you are like, hey, man, I want to go do it. I want a motorcycle camp for the first time, but I just don't, I don't know. I don't even know how do I get started? What do I buy? Where do I go? Email me at tallmanmoto@gmail.com. I will take you out. If you're in the Oregon, Washington area, this is like my passion. I love lighting that flame. Dude, let's do it. Just email me. Let's go out. Let's go.
I love it.
Have a time. I will walk you through. I have a list of things to buy that I have bought. Not that you should buy, but it's a starting point. Oh, you got this,
starter's list.
and this and that. Yeah. I'll walk you through it. I'll be there for you. I'll answer questions. I will show you the basics of off-roading. I will take you to the best friggin' camping places in Washington that I have found. Let's do it. I'm here for it.
Sounds good. And I can help you out.
Just for fun.
I can help you out for the Oregon stuff too, man. I got so many tracks on Gaia. It's crazy. Some good camping spots, waypoints and stuff in the wilderness of all of that.
Wilderness.
Yeah, buddy. Matt, I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. Man. I appreciate your time for coming on here. And dude, you're a great dude. And I appreciate you for all of this. And yeah, man. And even opening up a little bit there. So remember, Tallman Moto, all his stuff is going to be down below. Like, subscribe, share. We get all the links. We talked a couple videos. We'll throw those links down yonder. So with that, everybody have a good night. Okay, bye.
All right, bye.